second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about...
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
English, mother...
Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Let's put a smile on that face.
What's up, film family, and welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Dean. I'm here with my boy Scott.
Yo, what's up?
Today we're talking about the 2013 dystopian sci-fi film Snowpiercer, which was based off the... Yes.
Great start.
Snowpiercer, yeah, Snowpiercer. It's I watched the wrong movie, I guess.
Yeah, seriously, that sounds like a porno, bro. You sure? How long was this movie? How
I guess we're gonna have a different breakdown.
How graphic was it? Yeah, Snowpiercer.
Sorry, Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer, which was based off the French graphic novel story Le Personnage. So I've been practicing that. Yeah, Eloise is gonna be happy about that one.
Nice.
I was practicing that one. Created by Jacques Lob and artist Jean-Marc Rochette, which was first published in 1982. So I actually didn't know this was a graphic novel before I did the research for it. Did you know or no?
No. But I just when I was reading about it, it was said that he saw the novel when he was looking in a university library, and he read the whole series on the spot. That's pretty sick.
That is pretty. I mean, people be doing that, but I wonder if people actually get tight, like the workers being like. But again, it's not like it's your material. Like,
and also it's a library, so I don't think they're making money anyways.
That's true.
Like if it's a bookstore, then it's like, bro, like buy the book. Like, come on, dude. But if it's a library, like it would have been free anyways.
No, that's true. And also, just a little heads up. I don't know why you'd be watching this, but if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest go checking it out because we're gonna get into spoiler territory like right away. So Definitely check out the movie, come back, listen to us, and yeah. I don't know. I just give that disclaimer because I don't know. Some people might.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. I mean, people. It's funny, like especially when we did Deadpool and Wolverine, because it was a new release, right? We released it only a few days after it came out. Mm-hmm. People were like, "Oh, like, are there spoilers in it? Like, should I watch the movie first?" I was like, "Yeah." Like it's like we're doing a review of the movie, dude. Like
that's what I mean. That's why you gotta give disclaimers. And like sometimes I wonder, I'm like, all right, I don't know, But anyway, this was my first time watching the movie, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on your rewatch.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I have points that we'll bring up kind of as we get there of things that I thought about differently, I suppose, on a rewatch. But I'm more curious to hear your thoughts, like from your first viewing. What did you think?
Okay, well, first of all, I really enjoyed the movie, like just straight up. Okay. But I found it like. I saw the movie like when I looked on IMDb, and I saw that it was like I really like this movie. Like I just like I this movie that I definitely tell people, yo, you gotta check this out. You gotta check this out. It's like to me, it's one of those movies where like, some movies are like it's good, where it's like like Coach Carter, for example, our last episode. I feel like I'd tell a basketball fan if they haven't seen it, like it was a good, but like I wouldn't be like running around telling everyone go watch Coach Carter. Yeah. There's obviously like some discretion. Would I tell someone like someone that doesn't maybe like violence? I wouldn't tell them to watch this movie. but that leads into what I was saying when I was on IMDb and I saw it was only rated a 7.1 out of 10, which again is still pretty good. It's modest. And on Letterboxd, it's rated a 3.7 out of 5. So I was curious, and I was like, okay, like is there a common theme here to why people maybe don't like the movie? So one of the comments that I saw, and I saw it at least like 5 times, and I kind of stopped reading after that because like I don't want to go down like a negative rabbit hole because I like the movie. But I saw a big criticism of the movie was that it was too gruesome. So what is your thought of
I mean, I could see it, especially not only violence like you said, but like the food, the protein blocks. We see like they're eating cockroaches, which is freaking nasty. But like it's honestly, it's not that bad. Like you see a lot of the violence, like, but it's one, when the lights go out, it's all dark. And then two, even when they're like swinging axes and stuff, the person normally like falls to the ground, so they're out of frame and then the axe comes. So you see them like swinging the axe, and you know that they're killing them, but you don't actually really see it. You see like the splatters of blood, but it's really not that bad.
No, for sure. If anything, you could argue that Deadpool is just as gruesome as these
Definitely.
movies. You see people get dismembered and stuff in those movies.
I
Like,
think with those movies though,
it's
because
just because it's
it's
sorry.
comical, right? It's over the
Yeah.
top. So like people are like, you know, it's you know, I could tell that it's not supposed to be realistic, so it's maybe not as bad. But for this one, it's like they're just normal people. They're not superheroes or anything. But so maybe that's where it kind of could be a little, if you're squeamish. But I'm actually really squeamish.
Yeah.
And I don't have any problems with this movie. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting critique. Like I saw so much of it just like gruesome, too violent, so bloody. And I'm just like, when I first read that, I was like, well, first of all, it's a rated R movie.
Yeah.
Second of all, like, did you not like kind of see the trailer and like see the way it look? It's not like like you said, it's not a Deadpool. If you watch the trailer of Deadpool versus this, you see there's a very much more dark movie. Maybe just because they saw Chris Evans in it, and they're like, oh, it's Captain America. Maybe it's gonna be another. Like I don't know.
He doesn't kill people.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy. Honestly, it was kind of weird to hear him like swear. Like when they get Mason and he's like, "You could fucking die," is what you could do. I was like, "Whoa, what?" Chill, Cap.
No, 100%. It's like him in all the shit he was saying in Deadpool too. Like just the end scene credit when they had him cussing and saying that shit. I was like, it's so weird hearing him say all those things. Which is again why they did it.
Yeah, he's been in lots of other movies, but honestly, I haven't seen him in a ton of other movies.
Yeah,
but also he was Captain America in so many movies and for so long that like he just is Captain America. So seeing him do that is just it's weird. I don't know.
but besides the whole rating thing, like I to be honest, when I first started watching the movie, there was a little bit of like worry because I was like, I didn't know where I was heading, and part of me because I've watched like different train movies too, and like a lot of them start off on the train and then maybe will end like off the train. So they'll be like maybe the train will be like a portion of the movie. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, they're kind of stuck on the train. Like I was thinking, like how can they make this interesting? But as you teased it, you talked about it. When they got to like the hatchet room or axe room, whatever, then I was officially locked in. I was like, oh, okay, this is where we're getting going. Because before that, like it wasn't like it was boring, but it was in a state of just the movie of just like, I don't know where this is going. Like I don't know how much they can do when there's going from like section to section kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's all that before is kind of like set up, like especially right before they start like their revolution, they're just kind of setting up like the conditions of the people that are living in the tail and the classism, you know, the people that come from the front, and like they're building up the conflict, and then that really is when the conflicts. I mean, we get them when the revolution first begins, and like they bring that huge barrel tunnel thing and block the doors. That was pretty sick. But yeah, when they start swinging axes and have that all out brawl, holy shit, this is fucking sick.
And like I think it was that, and then obviously like as the movie progressed, and then like seeing how it ended and everything, I realized that, like this is like I want to say this is my kind of movie. I don't mean like there's only kind of movies I like, but it kind of gave me the sense. And again, I don't like comparing directors because I think I'm going to compare it to like a Tarantino movie only in a specific sense because I don't think they make similar movies, but just in the sense of the first time I ever noticed this in like a film when a director did this really well of just like things like even little things matter. Like characters don't just say things that don't matter. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like if, for example, like in Pulp Fiction, it's like it's little small stuff. Like I can't remember. Remember he asked
the
her
Royale with cheese.
No, yeah,
they're talking about the cheeseburger. That shit.
No, it's the it's when they talked about how what's his name, Wallace, his wife, like the Uma Thurman's character.
Yeah.
She used to be on like a TV show that got canceled or whatever, right? And that shit came back later, and he asked her about it. You know what I mean? It's just like sometimes you watch a movie and something random with like that would be said, and that would never come up again. It's just like these. It's something that's a little thing they said in conversation where it's like okay, whatever, and then it actually comes up later. Hey, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, did it? It's like oh shit, like that's not like. And in this movie, it's just like little things like when Curtis says, "How far back do you remember?" to like Edward about like how do you remember your mom? And I'm just thinking like I don't know what does it even mean, you know what I mean? And that's something that led us to like later on, you know what I mean? It's just
there's
like
a callback.
I like how not only do like things that people say, like there's little callbacks, little things that you hear them say and you're like, okay, I don't get it. Like, why is this guy collecting all this drugs that he wants to snort? And then even the characters matter too. Like everyone that they showed for the most part, obviously not including like the guards and stuff like that, but everyone had an impact. They did something. If they talked with Curtis and or just any, like if you saw them for a certain amount of scenes, they did something in the movie that was impactful. There was no character that were just shown that's like, hey Bobby, what's good? Da da da. It like, and then nothing. Like,
Yeah.
why did we get a 5-minute scene of him talking to that guy and then we never saw him again?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's definitely, like you said, it's kind of like no wasted lines, no wasted characters. Like it's good for sure, but I also don't hate when there are maybe a few lines or a few moments, not necessarily full characters, but and I don't want to say wasted, but you kind of throw them in as well to throw us off, because sometimes it could be obvious, right? If you know that, you, like you said, Curtis and Edgar, they're talking about, oh, what do you remember about the world? Do you remember your mom? Stuff like that. Then if you're like, okay, that means something. Like there's something happened with his mom. Like something's gonna come back to that. Whereas if there's a couple more of them, then it might kind of be nothing. Like it'll feel like nothing, and then one or two of them get called back, and some of them don't. So it keeps you guessing. I mean, this movie, there's a twist. There's a good twist at the end too, but I don't think it relies on keeping you guessing really. So
no, for sure.
I don't think that's super necessary, but so yeah, in a movie like this, I think you're right. It's good. Like no wasted lines, no wasted characters, because the twist doesn't necessarily rely on that. But if you have a movie like we were talking about Pulp Fiction that has all these kind of side plots going on, and then they all kind of amalgamate at the end, then you could have a few of them that, again, wasted isn't really necessarily the word, but it's kind of like a bluff, maybe, like this might mean something. This character is talking about this that might come back, and nope, doesn't actually mean anything. It was just they were just riffing about cheeseburgers, like, so stuff like that kind of keeps you guessing. You don't know what's real and what's not, but what's important and what's not, and it doesn't give away where the plot is going. So sometimes, like you can be like, okay, there's something here with his mom. I don't think it gave anything away. Like it was subtle enough that it definitely doesn't give it away, but it can if they're too intentional about it, and it kind of leads you to guess where we're going. And I don't want to know where we're going. That's the whole point of a movie,
No, you make a good point, and like, because I made it seem almost like I don't like to watch movies, which I'm just saying in the sense of like I like it when it happens. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want every movie to be like that. You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to like use an example in other movies, but I can't think of one right now. But I do agree. It's not something that needs to be in every movie, but like when I guess you'd call it like it's really efficient like filmmaking, where it's just like, damn, everything is so tight in here. It's just like you got to pay attention, and sometimes you don't want to have to pay attention to every single conversation in a movie. Not saying like you're watching it like on the side, where it's just like, oh, we can have like a little fun moment here. He had. And I guess I'll use Deadpool as an example. Like we were just talking about Deadpool, just like the Taylor, like that had nothing to do with the plot, but just a little funny side. The Predator Taylor.
But it's different in a comedy too,
no,
right?
It is different.
Because they'll just throw stuff in there just like to be funny. But yeah, like you're right. It's efficient storytelling, I think, is more. It's like they're cutting out unnecessary details. If there's a side plot, not a side plot, but like after the big fight on the train, we see, I say on the train, the whole movie's on the train, like the big huge
which
fight
part on the train?
I don't know what that car was called. There was nothing else in there. I just kind of thought about that, actually. Like all the other cars, like there's there's the water treatment, there's the food one, there's where they have meat, they have school, like all their cars have something specific. This one's just kind of an open car. It's just the fighting car, maybe. I don't know. They're just like, okay, we'll reserve this for huge battles. This is what this car is for. But it's good. I mean, in that or after that scene, we see Curtis and what was the old guy's name?
Grillum.
Gr-
or Grilliam.
Gilliam. Yeah.
Gilliam.
Yeah. Curtis and Gilliam.
Yeah.
They're talking about, leadership and stuff like that. But there would have been all sorts of other side conversations, with other characters, but they don't need to show us that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's like you say, it's efficient storytelling. Like what's important to the plot is what's being shown. And even that isn't necessarily important to the plot, but it's important to our characters. So if it means something to our characters or to the plot, it's in. If not, cut it out and let's keep moving.
That's true. It's kind of funny now. Another movie just came back to my head now. Is freaking Burning. That's like the exact. I don't say it's the exact opposite, but like that's a movie where it's just like it feels like it's tight, but then there was so many other things like where we were even talking about like maybe that scene with his mom didn't even have to happen, but it's just to throw us off. I guess it kind of goes exactly like almost the opposite of this movie in that sense.
Yeah, you're right. I think that is the perfect example for kind of what I was talking about before, saying they're not in there as they're not wasted characters or wasted scenes. It's like a bluff.
Yeah.
There's all this stuff going on, so you don't know what to pay attention to or what actually matters. So you're right. And in that movie, it really keeps you guessing. Like you have no idea what the hell's going on in that movie. And but that's the point, right? We have like our characters that are very much in the shadows and we don't know much about them, and that's what keeps us engaged into the movie and keeps us interested. So this movie doesn't need that. It's a different kind of movie, but you're right. They both work in different contexts. It's cool.
For sure. No, 100%. And speaking of, we were talking about directors and all these different movies as we're comparing them. Let's talk about Bong Joon-Ho and just any like thoughts and opinions on his work and that maybe you've seen. I don't know. I'm not familiar with how many movies you've seen of his.
Yeah, I've only seen this and Parasite.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen more, but like both of those movies are awesome.
Yeah.
Like this movie's great. Parasite, completely different movie.
Yeah.
But that one was amazing. It went nuclear at the Oscars. Like it was very, very well received. And so that was the biggest reason I watched it. Like I saw it won all these awards. I was like, oh, what the hell? I had never heard of Joon-Ho Bong. And I was like, no, I gotta watch this. And I watched it. I was like, okay, this movie is fucking sick. Mm-hmm. And I understood all the awards that he got. And I was like, this dude, like you said, the efficient storytelling, like in that movie, there's each character gets their own, like the way each character gets brought into the house individually. We see everything go in the timeline so seamlessly and smoothly. This movie, same thing, the way that I think it was maybe easier in this movie because it takes place on a train, right? So it's all very physically and metaphorically like linear. Right, like as they're moving it forward in the train, like the cars are getting nicer and nicer, so like the classes are getting richer and richer.
Yeah,
and they brought us into the conflict very early on, so we understand as we're moving forward how things are going. So everything's just executed really, really well, and I think that's what he's. I mean, I've only seen 2 of his movies, but in those 2, I feel like that's what his strength is.
Oh, for sure. And I've seen more of his movies. I think I've seen just 2 more than you. Then I've seen what's it called, Memories of Murder. I don't know if you even heard of that.
I've heard of it. Yeah,
it's really good. It's really good. Yeah,
say less.
Just like to give you a little bit of it's about. It's basically just about it's in Seoul in 1986, and there's 2 detectives just they're struggling to find a serial killer. Because there's a serial killer going around just killing like young women, and it's about a real life serial killer that happened in South Korea, like at that time, and it's kind of like to give you kind of like a sense of what it's like. It's almost like a Seven kind of like Gone Girl, like that kind of vibe. Like a dark mysteries kind of. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And as you like, this movie's kind of grimy too. It's like he likes things could be grimy.
He likes some grime. Okay.
He likes some grime. The movies are really good. I remember I watched it with it was with my dad, Katia, Dre, and Eloise. We're all just like, oh, what movie should we watch? And I was like, yo, the dude that's how you gotta. People that don't watch movies, like, yo, the guy that made Parasite, yeah. He was the guy that made Parasite. We gotta watch this movie. Like, okay, yeah, that movie was good. We gotta trust it, and they all liked it too. It's a good movie. You should definitely check it out.
We gotta do this. We gotta do it on the pod. Would it be good for the pod?
Oh yeah, I think so. The only
Oh,
thing
hell yeah.
I some people don't like reading subtitles. It's in Korean, guys.
Oh,
This movie was in English. This movie is completely Korean. Some people
yeah,
don't
no,
like that.
I don't have any problem with that at all.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
like tons of international films are amazing. If you just
Oh,
limit
for sure.
yourself to no subtitles, you're missing out on great movies.
And I think people
And
are coming around to it with anime because people
oh yeah,
are watching anime with subtitles nowadays.
yeah, like there's so much good content out there that's not American. Like to
Yeah.
just say like, oh, I'm not gonna bother with any of that. That's just that's lame. But
Oh, for
I
sure.
think I'll save my first viewings for the podcast. Like I
Oh,
want to
okay.
watch it,
Yeah.
and but I'll save it so that whenever that comes, we'll have, because I kind of like this dynamic when we have one
Yeah.
person that watches it for the first time and one
Okay,
person that it's a rewatch. I don't know. I the differing perspectives. I kind of like it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's true because if the other person suggested they have like their notion, then you're almost like it's almost one of those things too, you're kind of shook. You're like, damn, like I hope he likes it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna come in all hype? Like, yo, what do you think of the movie? It was shit. Let's talk
It was.
about it.
Hey, but honestly, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because then we would talk about why you didn't like it or
That's
why I
true.
like. You know what I mean? And then it could be by the end of it, you're like, damn, you're right. That movie did kind of suck. Or you're like, oh no, that movie was better than I realized. I didn't think. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, that's true.
that could be interesting too. I'm sure it would still be good.
That's true. The other movie that I watched is The Host, and it's about a monster that emerges from the Seoul-Han River, and it starts attacking people. And one of the victims' family members tries to save like their daughter. And
Okay.
this is for anybody that's curious and for you. The CGI is cheeks
Okay.
of this
Nice.
monster. The CGI is cheeks. Okay. The
Well,
movie came,
I was gonna say, like, was this one of his early movies? He probably had no budget.
it came out in 2006, and the budget was very small. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But
like paper mache arms and
it's just like it just doesn't look great. It's like that stereotype of people, but like if you watch like a foreign movie and their CGI is horrible compared to American, it's that. Even though it's
Yeah.
like there's actually some English in this movie, which is surprising when it happened because there's some Americans in it. So when people start talking, it throws you off. You know, you're watching international film, someone starts talking English, you're like, wait, what?
Why'd you throw your
like,
hands up? You
yeah.
gonna start fighting?
You ready to fight? Yeah. But no, it's another one of those interesting things. It's not another class thing, but you are with a poor family, and it's interesting. It's the thing that's interesting about the movie is that dynamics, and there's themes layered all throughout this movie, like he does in a lot of his movies. There's themes layered all of it. I just let you know that ahead of time because I listen to a podcast and like, oh, you guys got to watch this movie, and they even said too, CGI is not good. You gotta let people know because maybe
Make a
they'll go in
disclaimer, yeah.
exactly, because it might ruin it for you. It's not. Yeah. There's scenes where it's like, okay, it's not that. You're looking for scenes. Okay, it doesn't look that bad. There are other scenes you're like, they should have done this in the dark. This looks
Yeah.
crazy. Like the monster looks crazy.
Just do it off
but-
screen. Just have the sound
Yeah.
of him roaring, and show your characters like scared of him or something. Not don't show me the monster if it's gonna be that
They
bad.
should have done it like Jaws, like very minimal showing of it.
Yeah.
Very minimal showing of it.
Yeah, that's
And,
horrible. That's very clear. Just a machine.
Yeah, exactly.
grabbing, biting at the boat. Oh man, that's tough.
But I need to see Tokyo. I need to see Mother, and he's got a movie coming out in 2025, which I'm excited about.
Ooh, yeah, I'm excited.
Mickey 17.
Okay, what's
Yeah,
it
it's
about? Do you know?
It's about like an android, and it's Patterson's the main character.
Robert
Robert
Pattinson?
Patterson. Yeah.
Ah,
So I'm
okay.
assuming I get this is another American movie.
Yeah.
Unless he's mixing with Koreans. I don't know.
Well,
but
I
I
mean, in
imagine
this
if
one,
he's
there's
the
a little
lead.
bit of Korean,
That's true.
but if he's the lead, yeah, for sure, it's going to be English
Yeah.
led. Like it could be something like this. But it's interesting that you talked about in that monster movie. I can't remember the name, but
The Host.
that there's like we follow a poor family again, so there's still a little bit of that classism. This movie like is about classism.
Yeah.
Parasite, same thing.
Yeah.
Did this guy grow up poor and he hates the rich?
Yeah,
like,
I know,
or,
right?
or did he grow up rich and he hates poor, but he can't say it, so he just works it in all of his movies? Like, damn.
Well, apparently he actually grew up like he didn't say he was poor. He said he didn't come from money. So I don't know
Okay.
if he's like somewhere like middle class, below
Middle
poverty
class,
line,
yeah,
middle class,
maybe.
somewhere between there. And he talked about how he actually was a tutor. So I think he like that was like the whole thing in Parasite. And his whole thing was like that would be the only way like a poor person would even interact with a rich person. So that's how he got that
Right.
inspiration. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like
Ah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
that's interesting. Like, was there a source material on that movie? Do you know, or was it completely original by him?
I think it was original. I don't want. I could be wrong though. I don't want
Yeah.
to. I'm not 100% sure.
No, that's
But
fair enough. But I mean,
no,
that's a cool idea that you said that if he was a tutor and he wasn't rich, we
yeah,
again we don't know if he's dirt poor, but like still
yeah.
that's interesting that he would come up with that dynamic and then make a Academy Award winning movie. That's cool.
Again, yeah. No, I'm interested to see how it goes. I'd be dying if every movie just guy's just a one trick pony.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it's like everything's about class. No, Memories of Murder is not about class. Again, he shows different class in it, but it's not.
Okay.
It's about a serial killer. Like
Yeah.
there's poor people in it, but this doesn't mean like, oh, there
Well,
he is
there you go.
again.
There he is again.
There's
Poor
let's get out of
people.
here. This guy, man. This guy. Oh shit. But do you have any other opinions? Anything you want to say about him or
I mean, no, like I said,
Yeah.
I've only watched the 2 movies, so I don't have like a huge sample size, but I've really liked his 2 movies. So yeah, I'm excited to watch more and for the new stuff that he's coming up with. But I mean, it's kind of interesting to think of him as maybe like an up and comer because I mean, he's made quite a few movies, but a lot of them are international. So, like having Parasite that came overseas and now he's making American movies, you can kind of see him as like an up and comer, but like he's not really. But I find that interesting because if I compare him to like a Jordan Peele, that's like, I guess he wasn't an up and comer either. Like he started on the scene like hot. Like he came out with Get Out right away and we were like, okay, this is nice. And then Us, and I actually still haven't seen Nope, and he's got another movie coming out, but I'm gonna watch it for sure. Like, I don't know, it's just interesting the landscape of direction because I kind of feel like we're moving into a new era, like the Scorsese and like James Cameron and that kind of. I mean, I know James Cameron's a little younger, but like, I feel those are some of the big names from years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still making movies, but I don't know. I feel like we're kind of in that new direction, the Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve. Well, he's not really an up and coming, but like I said, Jordan Peele. There's lots of like new names that I'm really excited about to see what they do in the future. Because I feel like I said, like Scorsese, James Cameron, Paul Thomas Anderson, I feel like they have their own style and we've kind of seen what their legacy is, what kind of movies they like to make and how they make them. But now with the new up and comers, they have their own style on things. So to see them evolve and how that's going to be, how they're going to evolve in their careers and make different kinds of movies, I'm excited to see.
Oh, me too. It's funny, like, just to talk about these guys, newcomers, guys talk like 40, 50. But in directing, it is like that, though. And it's funny, like, you're saying the Scorsese and, like, Spielberg, you're going far back. Like, Taxi Driver came out in the 70s. Like, I'm not even saying, like, I don't, like, people think I'm huge Scorsese fans, and I like Scorsese. I know you have your opinions, and we'll talk about that when we talk about him, like in a movie we watch or something. But his time is done. You know what I mean? Like even Spielberg too. Like their peak was done. They'll still make movies, and maybe I'll check some of them out and stuff. But like the generation after that was like Fincher and Tarantino, and those guys seem like they're kind of at their ends too. It's weird because like Nolan's like somewhere in between. I feel like, and same thing with Denis because they've been making movies for a long time. It's just like Denis only really popped like. He's been making a lot of great movies, but like mainstream, I think Blade Runner is when maybe his name, even like people noticed him. I knew of him before, like because I saw Prisoners. I thought that was really good. But him and Nolan, Pete, like Jordan Peele feels like a baby with 3 movies.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like you still look at him. He's got gray hair. Like we saw him on Key and Peele forever. So he's not like a new name, but like you said, he's made 3 movies. And Denis Villeneuve, like you said, Christopher Nolan, these guys that aren't necessarily brand new, like they've made quite a few movies, but they're more new to like the big blockbuster scene, like making big movies like Dune or like the Batman movies or you know stuff like that really explodes for your name because like Jordan Peele made great movies, but they're all original. And I feel like if he didn't have that Key and Peele, like if his name didn't already hold that weight, we probably would have been talking to him like they were like, oh, this guy's made good movies, but nobody's seen them. Yeah, you know what I mean? So 100%. Like it's interesting that directors, I feel like because you have to pay your dues, especially trying to get like money from a studio to make big movies. Like you can't just walk in and walk in with a script and get $100 million. Like you have to
No.
show that you can do it. So that's why you had to make these good movies on small budgets that nobody watches, but they're still great movies. So we still have to go back and watch them, man.
No, it's true. No, 100%. I mean, okay. Speaking of great directors, let's get into the movie. Let's get into. we're hyping these guys up. I heard you say, like, I always get confused with it. Bong Joon-Ho, or is it you say Joon-Ho Bong?
Yeah,
I've seen it both. It's like I know it's like the Ming Yao Ming, right?
Yeah, so I think it's like you write it Bong Joon-Ho, but I think you say Joon-Ho Bong. Like I think his last name is Bong.
Oh shit! But
I could be wrong too.
So what are we doing here?
We'll
do our own thing,
bro. We'll just call him June.
Okay. June. June?
Yeah.
The Parasite director?
JB.
No,
we'll call him JB.
JB. Yeah,
right,
let's
we'll
do
call
that.
him
JB. All right,
I bet.
JB Ho. Actually, no, not the Ho. Just JB. We'll call him JB. Okay.
Let me say JB Ho.
All right, so I mean, again, if we're watching this, we're assuming you've seen this movie, but just to give a quick synopsis, the movie's set in the year 2031. The entire world is frozen, and everyone's aboard the Snowpiercer. 17 years have passed since the original survivors have got on to the train. Curtis and the lower class citizens are living in the back of the train, and they're determined to spread the wealth. And each section they go through, new surprises have they battle, and the revolution is underway. So
yes, sir.
This movie starts with the classic, like the news report talking about with the current events, what happened with everything. Was there anything like in this, like the second viewing, that like anything you wanted to bring up, or like anything that like you noticed in like this whole opening sequence, like leading up to the revolt?
Well, I think they did really well, kind of building the setting. I feel like, and building the tone of the train. Like, you can have we understand it's the lower class, and you have poor people in there. They have tough conditions, but I feel like they did a really good job of making it feel really, really cramped in there. Like it's in a train, right? So there's already not a lot of space. There's a lot of people, and they all have like their beds, like bunk beds along each side, and they're kind of like they have to climb under and over stuff just to get anywhere that they're going, and there's people all over the place. So I thought they did a really good job of that. And I wanted to shout out there's a cool shot of how they introduce Curtis. Like when they come in right away, when they're doing like a roll call or like a head count, and there's everyone standing up, and then the first row sits down, second row sits down, third row and then he's left standing up. So we don't see him, and then they sit down. I thought that was a really cool way to introduce our main character.
No, I agree. That was a really cool shot. I was like, oh, snap. When I saw that, I was like, yo, he's about to like throw hands right now. That's how we're starting the movie.
But it was cool, man. I thought it was a cool way to introduce him.
No, I thought it was really cool too. I thought it was interesting. I like the whole like the Tolda character. I actually didn't even realize. Oh no, sorry, I'm not saying the Mason character. I'm saying her real name, the actor.
Yeah.
I just liked that character. I thought she brought a lot of comic relief, and not even on purpose too. Just like in the way. To me, it always kills me when actors like they do the whole like makeup setup, and they always give them like these big ass teeth or something. So the character just like so just like every time they just try to act hard or anything. Like I just like that look. Yeah.
And she's supposed to be rich as hell and like looking down on them. These big ass donkey teeth in your mouth. Like what is going on here?
I apparently like Talda and JB are actually close like friends in real life. And they actually worked on developing that character together. Yeah.
True. I read a little bit about that. Them like going back and forth on how they were, going to do the little mannerisms and little details about her character. Yeah.
Because apparently, I mean, you assume it like most directors, but you'd be surprised. There's actually some directors, like not to go on a crazy off tangent, but I remember when I went to TIFF, it was like 2 years ago. And I remember like sometimes the directors are there and they're talking, doing like Q&As and stuff. And you're like, oh, I remember the dude being like, yeah, I'm not like a big movie guy. And I'm like, really? You're a director, not a big movie guy? Like I was like astonished. I just assume everyone's like a Tarantino. Maybe not to that extent.
Yeah, not to his to his level.
But to an extent,
that's weird. Like to not like movies.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm not really like a big film guy. He's like more interested in just like I guess the arts of just making the art, but he didn't really like. He's like, I don't really watch movies. I was like, I think everyone in there was surprised when they heard that. Like, okay, why do you watch this guy's movie?
if you enjoy the art of making a film, wouldn't you enjoy other people's art in making film? Like, you could watch other people like, oh, wow, that was cool that this guy did that or this guy did that, right? Like or to get inspiration. That's really weird. I've never heard that.
But yeah, apparently JB is a huge movie guy, and like that's what they bonded on. They were just going off of movies. It's interesting too. Like I don't know, like not saying like he can't, but it always surprises me when he talk about how many American films like he enjoyed, and I was like, it's interesting.
You probably just use subtitles.
Yeah,
it's just the other way.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just like the opposite way. But yeah, it's interesting. You just don't hear that perspective often. So I thought that was interesting.
No, that is interesting.
Yeah.
And I wanted to shout out to another way I thought that they just a small thing that they did that helped kind of ground us in this setting of the train and in the tail of the trains was that when Curtis is looking for the pill inside the protein block that has a little message in it, and Timmy has it. Yeah. And so he's trying to negotiate with Timmy to trade for the protein block. And he's like, all right, what do you want for it? And he says, in the whole wide train. So it's like it's meant to be like the whole wide world. Oh yeah. But for them, the train is the whole world. So I was like, oh, this is a cool, just a little something that just tells us for their characters that this is it. It's in the whole wide world, in the whole wide train. Like if I had the whole train, what would I want? Yeah. And just I don't know. I thought it was a good way to make the train the whole world to our characters, and just a small little detail, like we were saying, no wasted lines.
Yeah, no, for sure. I didn't even catch that, but it's a good point too, because it's like for majority of those kids, like again, if you're 17 and younger, or if you are just 17, this is your whole world. It is like it's crazy to think about, and it's
they
funny.
Call them train babies.
Yeah, exactly, and it's funny you mentioned the protein block thing too, because I saw a thing. It was that line that Edgar, when he's like, when they're screaming and they're like when they're starting the whole revolt, and he's like, I'm tired of eating this protein block bullshit. Like when you're just screaming that shit. Apparently, the actual actor, like Jamie Bell, actually hated it because they actually made these little freaking seaweed little things. I saw it. So there's some truth in him screaming that. That wasn't even just acting. He was tired of eating that bullshit.
And I don't know how much they would have had to eat it. Like that's what I mean. Multiple takes, but that's I actually read that Tilda Swinton liked it.
Yeah.
That's so weird, man. It looks disgusting.
It does look disgusting. It does look disgusting. There's one thing too I had to point out too. I immediately wrote this down, which it was like, I mean, I think JB's definitely got. I like how we call him JB.
Yeah, he's our boy.
He's our boy
JB.
So it's just Jaylen Brown, but
there's a lot of JBs.
There's a lot of JBs. There's a lot, but this is
Jalen
our JB.
Brunson.
That's true. This is our JB though. This is a film JB, and everyone listening to the podcast, we call him JB now.
Yeah, exactly.
But when they're all screaming that shit, and he's like, I'm tired of this protein block bullshit. And then you got shout out Mrs. Battle from Coach Carter.
Okay.
Yeah. You got her screaming, yeah, we want chicken. I was like, really,
Bro,
JB? You're gonna have the black character
I literally
screaming.
have the same thing wrote down. I'll tell you verbatim. This is what I wrote down. Black lady wants chicken, SMH. I was like, bro, come on. You're like, everyone else is like, yeah, we need clean clothes. Like, this is horrible. She's like, chicken. I'm like, come on, bro. It's so on the nose.
I'm just imagining him just like nodding to people on set. Look what I wrote. She's looking at him.
Chicken and a buttermilk biscuit. Throw some collard greens on that shit too. God damn it! And then some sweet potato pie. Like, just if they just make all this soul food, just make it steer it to the skin, make it as racist as possible.
God,
but bro, she was so livid about chicken, and no one else even mentioned chicken or nothing.
That took me out.
That pissed me off, man.
I was like, that's crazy. The first time he gets a black person in his movie, that's what he's got to do.
Yeah, that cheesed me. It was it was funny though. Maybe not funny, but there was a moment when Curtis and Edgar talking, and we kind of
Yeah.
talked about before when they were talking about like, oh, tell me about your mother. They were talking about that,
Yeah.
and Edgar was like, oh, you're gonna have to be our leader because he's not gonna live forever.
Gilliam,
So
right?
Gilliam's not gonna live forever, and he says, I'm not a leader. I was like, this guy's literally playing Captain America again.
Yeah, I know.
Like he's like, I don't want that title, you know. But you're already their leader, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're already getting all the notes.
He's
talking to
leading
Gilliam,
everything.
He's literally leading everything, and he's I'm not a leader. All right, bro. All right, bro.
There definitely is certain signs, like scenes, or I guess certain things he says in scenes where I'm like, this is literally Captain America. Like, you know, in certain things he just says, like when like I'm not the leader thing. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
Cap.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
That's what
Cap.
I mean. I was like, oh, like this is literally Captain America. You're not the leader, but you are the leader. Captain America is unequivocally the leader of the Avengers. This guy is unequivocally the leader of the revolution. Like, how are you even trying to shy away from this? You're telling people, hey, tie that a little bit tighter. Okay. Oh no. People are asking you, is it time yet, Curtis? No,
Yeah,
not yet. Like, sir, you're literally the leader. What are you doing? I don't know how he's trying to hide from that.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to do, man. And then he leads them to like, so there's the next scene I want to talk about was the scene when they met Nam and his daughter, because like there was a couple points I want to like I was curious to see if there's anything you want to say, like either about like the two characters or just them, that whole meeting with him and like them finding him it almost looked like a morgue, like the way they pulled him out of that thing. I was like, I didn't know what the heck they were doing at first. Obviously,
and he was lying there sleeping. I thought he was dead too. I was like, the hell? But then he gets up so casual, like lights a cigarette. They're all like, oh, I thought those were extinct. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
but it was funny how casual he was. Like, imagine you, I don't know, they put you in this box. I don't know how long he's been there, but like the whole time you've been in jail, basically. And then you get woken up and there's just like 100 people around you that are clearly from the tail. You're not like, how the fuck did you get here?
Yeah.
Like, he's just so casually chilling.
He doesn't give a shit, no. So I was like, maybe like, did he know they were coming? Were they passing notes or something? I don't know. I guess they never mentioned that. And I guess you would have noticed that second time watching, but
true.
I never, but no, I don't. I got to mention though, this is clearly like the actor's name is Song Kang-ho. And I was saving this because I don't want to mention this. This guy is in The Host. He's in Memories of Murder. He's in Parasite, and he's in this. That's his boy. That's JB's boy.
He's JB's boy.
This is his. 100%. This is the Spike Denzel. This is De Niro's Scorsese. This is his boy.
Uma Tarantino.
Yeah, 100%. Or Samuel Jackson Tarantino.
Yeah, Michael Caine and Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
all of our directors, man, they've all got their boys. And girls.
Yeah, for sure. Denny likes Jake Gyllenhaal. I think that's the person he's had in his movies the most. But
been in
I guess
Prisoners. What else?
Enemy. It's just 2 movies.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but that's the most. Boy, right. That's the most. I mean, I guess what's his name is Zendaya and Timmy are rivaling now. They got 2. They're gonna get a third. So
yeah, does that count though?
No, it doesn't count though. No.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's like saying that Bale is Nolan's boy. It's like, yeah, we made 3 movies. Right. Yeah, it's not the same thing.
That's not a thing.
And
or
also,
like Vin Diesel is. Well, I guess they have different directors on like Fast, but there's 10 movies. Or how many movies are there now? 11?
10.
No, 10.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
True. That is crazy. And also his daughter was in The Host too, like his daughter in this, and she was his daughter in The Host. She's literally on the cover too.
Oh shit!
It's the main family. I'm like, that's a damn. They're back. Like, and they that was the last movie they did together, and then they're back, and he's probably like, yo, you're my daughter again.
Yeah, maybe it's a connected story. You know, maybe
maybe. They're
the same people. Well, I don't know what happened in The Host, but if they were,
The Host is about a monster terrorizing their city, and then global warming puts them on a train to shit like.
It's tough out there, man. It's tough out there.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. The one line that killed me is like when they obviously the whole translation thing, and there's like, are you listening? Are you listening? The whole like, it's like, I'm listening. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. The machine just has to. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Especially, I like that they kind of stopped using, like they show that they have the machine, so it records and then it translates it. But then right after they do it like twice, they just don't even bother showing us the machine. We just show them talking to each other, and then there's the subtitles. And I like that they did this, especially later in the movie when Chris Evans kind of has that monologue and like Curtis is talking to
Yeah.
Nam,
To Nam.
and it's the same thing. Like it's supposed to be at that moment, especially very emotional and meaningful. And then if it's just like a robot voice reading it out every
Yeah.
time, you know, it doesn't have the tone. Like you're paying your actor for a reason, right? So you want him to
for
be
sure.
able to deliver that tone and that emotion in his, you know, the visually in their acting, but also in their lines. So they show that thing is there. So we're like, okay, that's how they're talking
doing
to each
it.
other. That's how it's being translated, but I don't have to see it every time. And I like that they
Yeah,
kind of went
exactly.
away from it.
Oh, 100%. It's like the whole, it only happened in a small scene, but like in Seoul, whereas like he was having that heartfelt thing with his mom and they didn't have it through the cat because then it would have been like,
Right.
okay, like this is like have the cat say it and then him repeat it kind of thing. It's like, no, just
Yeah.
have the person say it. We know what's going on here. You can skip that part. And
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah, just
it's like that same
establish
kind
it.
of, yeah.
Just establish it so we understand. We're like, okay, this is because if they just started talking to each other, we were like, why does this guy speak Korean and this guy speak, you know what I mean? So establish it. We're like, okay, this is how it's happening. Now I don't need it anymore. Just let the actors cook.
Exactly. Yeah. And so speaking of those two, when Yana, who's his daughter's name is Yana? Yana. So Yana is hearing, like when she started doing like this, the panicking and everything, and she's like, "Don't open the door." This is the movie, like I mentioned. This is when I got locked in because I was like, "Oh, why is she saying don't open that door?" And then open. I have mixed feelings on this scene, so I'm curious, like, what you thought on this, like this hatchet scene? I just call it the hatchet scene.
Well, give me your mixed
It's like a
feelings.
mix. Well, my mixed
I
feeling
want to
is
hear
just
your
that,
thoughts.
my mixed feeling is just that I think it was a bit too much, too many of them.
Okay.
In the sense of like that room was packed. You couldn't even see the other side. All I saw was these giant dudes, all masked up, looking intimidating with all these axes, and then against a bunch of dudes that have nothing. I just feel
they
like
had weapons. Remember there was one point you maybe missed it because it was your first viewing, but there was one point right before because right when the mutiny started. So there's like an alarm that goes off, and then the guards come in, and this is when they have the huge tunnel.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, hide it!" So they back it up, and Curtis says, "Oh, hide that under your jacket. Hide your weapons under your jacket."
Okay.
It's a quick little thing. Like he just says it real quick.
Okay.
But so they do have weapons.
Okay, that's not as bad. But I think that's my only thing is just I I liked the scene too. I really liked the scene. I was just like, I get it. You're trying to make it tough for them, but that's a lot. That's a lot. You put a lot of dudes in that room. I could have felt like it could have been maybe like 20 dudes. It still would have been crazy intimidating. Like if it was just like, yeah, go.
Well, I was gonna say, I feel like the only thing that would like to me that I wouldn't like as much is that with all those peoples in that train, like where's the space for them to fight? Like then they start fighting, and they run toward them, and then they're all sweet. Like if you're all that tightly packed, it wouldn't be that easy to just run around and start fighting. Like they're all right next to each other.
Mm-hmm. And again, I understand it was the whole presentation. It was like the whole, oh shit, like we're fucked. Like this is crazy. But like you said, like I mean, they did the whole quick battle scene. And suddenly there was room. Like suddenly it went like 50% of them were just gone as the fight started going. So there was so much room for freaking Curtis to do drop kicks and shit. Like there was just so much room all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we need everybody right at the front for the initial intimidation. Okay, they've seen us. Now the back 3 rows, back up. Everybody back up. We're gonna start fighting soon, all right? Back up. And then they pulled out the fish. I was like, what? Why do they have a fish?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you see
I didn't get that.
I saw a little thing about it later. Did you see anything about the fish, like in your research?
Is it about? Yeah, is it about Weinstein and our boy JB?
Yeah, say it.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, yeah, so JB really wanted that scene in.
Yeah.
Weinstein, because it was produced by the Weinstein Company, he wanted it cut for more action. It's like 12 seconds. I don't know why. Anyways, he wanted it cut. And so JB said he wanted to keep it in for sentimental value, as it was a tribute to his father, who was a fisherman. And Weinstein was like, okay, yeah, family's really important. You can keep it in. And then he was like, that was a fucking lie. I thought my dad wasn't a fisherman. I was like, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I saw the interview. He's like, yeah, my dad was a graphic novelist.
What a G, bro. He was like,
That's
"Man, fuck that guy.
hilarious,
I want
man."
that shot in the movie.
Apparently he got it from The Godfather. Like he liked the fish scene in The Godfather, which I'm like, it wasn't even the same thing. But I guess he just
That's
saw
what I
big
mean.
fish.
Like, what's I get that. Like, you want to pay homage to something, but it didn't make sense in this scene. Like, they pull out a fish and they cut it open. Like, that was supposed to be intimidating. Like, hey guys, look, our axes are actually sharp.
Yeah.
All right.
And you know what? When I actually saw that, like that scene happening, I was in my head, I was thinking like, is this about to be a joke? Because like there's like, it's not just South Korean movies, but there's always like this like dark humor, like this like silly humor where I was expecting to be like, they're open that door, they're like, oh shit. And these guys are gonna be like, hey, you guys want some fish? I thought it was gonna be like one of those kind of moments. And I was like, oh, it's just gonna be some kind of stupid joke. And like, yeah, and then they like stop, eat fish, and then move on to the next card or something.
I mean, they do stop for New Year's.
Yeah,
and they all
no,
like
that's true.
cheer. I was like,
Exactly.
what the hell is this, man?
There's always that little goofy comedy.
That was so weird. Like you're in a fight to the death, and they're like, hold on, guys. It's about to be New Year's, all right? Let's chill out for a second. And they're all like, yeah, they count down, yell Happy New Year. I was like, why? You guys are in a fight right now. What's going on? And everyone just agrees to stop.
And that's why I thought that fish thing was going to happen. I was expecting like stupid comedy, but this happened to come later. I thought it was going to be in that movie. There's always, I don't know if it is like a Korean thing. I've only seen like maybe like 3 different directors, including our boy JB, and there's always some kind of goofy humor. It might just be those guys. Maybe it's just like a staple of just like, you always have some goofy comedy in there. It's just like genre bending. You gotta always throw some extra shit, even if it's like a dark movie. Just throw some goofy shit in there.
Yeah, just to keep you guessing. No,
yeah,
I like
exactly.
it.
No, I liked it too. It was just
but overall, the scenes like it's sick. Like the action is really good.
100%.
I think they maybe use a little too much slow mo. In my opinion, there's a whole lot of slow mo in the fighting. But I mean, like when they go through the tunnel. And then they all put their night vision goggles on, and we're like, "Oh shit, they're in trouble." And even Yana says too, because Nam says it in Korean. He says you're fucked.
Yeah, it's like there's a tunnel coming, a fucking long one.
I don't know how they didn't get more kills, honestly. But like you see them slowly walk up, and the guys are like in the dark swinging their axes, and then they finally stab them. Like you should be murking all of these guys right now. They got
cocky,
and Curtis was right at the front. How is he not dead?
I was thinking too. They just got cocky. They're like, "Oh, let's just savor this moment." Like they're fucked. I'm assuming that's the mindset. Like these guys can't even see us. Like we'll just take our time. There's no need to rush. I guess
there should have been a shot of one of them like giving bunny ears to the like go behind them and put bunny ears behind the person. You can't see me. Or like they tap on their shoulder on the other side and go to the other. You know what I mean? Like if they're just playing with them or start drawing on their face, like all this. If they started doing this dumb shit, but. And then they get the fire and they're running through the tunnel with the fire.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking dope.
Apparently there was no additional lighting used.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was just assuming that there's usually additional lighting with those kind of things. Like usually when someone's like holding a candle or all these things, it's like the candle's not actually giving that light. There's actually like this huge light system going on. But that was actually the only, there must have been a lot of them in there. Because it was pretty bright.
That's why like it was surprising when I read that. Because I was like, it is really bright. And when I was watching it, I actually specifically remember, because thinking that, I was like, man, the fires wouldn't make this much light.
Yeah. That was
like,
exactly what I was
like, it's in a movie, so I wasn't mad about it. But I was like, the fires wouldn't make this much light. But apparently we're wrong, because...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's all metal, so it's all like reflecting off of itself. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I made it, if that's the fact, so it is what it is. But it was a lot of light.
No, it was a lot of light. Hey, JB said, "Yo, you guys doubted me?" Nah.
Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry, JB. Sorry, bro.
But yeah, and then we get, there's a lot that goes on in this scene. Like I just like we get like Nam and Yana, like they see the plane that comes a little bit later. We get Edgar's death, which is crazy. And even before Edgar's death, there's like that funny scene too. I just came back to my head where that dude like Gray comes in and he's like, surrender. And he's like, surrender. And then Mason just like shrug and he's just like, shit.
Her delivery is perfect there, bro. Like she looks, she's like, me. What do you want me to do? Sorry, bro. Like you got caught. You're dead. Like it was perfect. I think the scene's big too. It's big for her character, also big for Curtis, because like you said, like Edgar dies and Curtis has to choose kind of between trying to save Edgar and going after Mason because she gets stabbed. But I was also like, I thought this was good a big moment for his character, right? In choosing, like, do I go back and save my friend? And later on, you know, we find out the connection there, so he'll have like kind of guilt towards him.
Yeah.
But also continuing with the mission, right? Like letting him die for the greater good of everybody in the tale. You know, if I go and get Mason, that means I can continue and like complete the mission. Another Captain America quality, by the way.
100%.
But like that was big for his character. I thought it was big for Mason as well. Not necessarily for her character making a decision, but for showing us her character, like in her selfishness, like in like when he like surrender, and she's like, no. Like, what? No, you're gonna die. I don't care. And then as soon as she gets captured, she's like, everybody stop. Everybody fucking stop. Do what they're saying. Like just in like perfect antagonist. Like she's totally selfish, all about herself, just staying alive. But I thought it was great for those two characters in this scene.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, the Edgar's like death actually really surprised me. I didn't think like I assumed some people were gonna die, but someone like him, like I thought Curtis and him were like our guys are gonna at least stick it to the end, and maybe he died. Like I didn't expect him to die that quick. And I was like, oh snap! Like that's what. Then again, I already said I was locked in once we got into this room, but like once he died, I was like, okay, now this is like the stakes are up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that was a big character. He's like, he was one of the first people though. The first two people we started talking in the movie that were talking. And one of them just died. It's like, oh snap! Like, okay, the stakes are up. Nobody's safe. Where are we going here?
I feel like you needed that though. Like if they all just walk through and like we get a whole bunch of like unnamed characters that die, then we're like, okay, it's kind of like you said, the stakes aren't really that high. We're like, we don't really feel like our characters are in danger. We understand they have plot. I mean, plot armor is a thing. It is what it is. But I mean, to have none of our main characters die, I feel like would have been a mistake. But also have like in that sense when the guy had Edgar in his arms and he had the knife to his throat, and then Curtis was like deciding like if he started running towards him, how was he actually going to stop the guy from killing him?
Yeah, that's true.
I was thinking that. I was like, the guy literally has his knife to his throat. Like if you take one step, he could just kill him. Like I don't know. I get that you're like, oh, I want to try and help him, but like what could you even do?
I don't know. And Edgar kind of fucked himself up though. The dude was just holding him there. It didn't seem like he was gonna kill him. And then Edgar had pushed him off. That's when he killed him. And I was kind of like, I mean, I think he was gonna kill him anyway. But it just the way it transpired, I'm like, I think he was just gonna hold you there and then try to get you guys to. I don't know if they're trying to get him to surrender, but I don't know. I wasn't sure.
Well, no, because I mean, we find out. Well, we definitely don't want. They don't want them to surrender, right? Because they staged the whole mutiny, right? To lower the population. So like they need to, I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter who they kill, they just need number. And it was interesting when the lights went out and Mason was like, all right, 74% of you will die, like the specific number. And then as they start killing, there's the dude that's in the dark and he's like trying to dodge all the people dying, but like clicking the counter, like to try and keep count of who they're killing. I thought that was funny. But for Edgar too, like you had mentioned, he kind of fucked himself as well, that he didn't make any friends for himself. Like he was a dick to everybody, man. Like
he was
right at the beginning when they were negotiating with Timmy for the protein block. He was like, oh, just give me that protein block, kid. And it was like, no, we're gonna negotiate with him. And then when they get Nam and he's like, can you open the fucking door? Why are we all waiting for you? Fucking colon head or
you mean like the drug
addict?
Yeah.
Coronal. You fucking Coronal head. Get the fucking door. Hurry up. And like no one else is doing anything. Everyone's just sitting there waiting calmly, and he's screaming at the guy like, dude, at everything. Make some friends, and maybe they'll protect. Maybe so he would have had your back in the train if you weren't a dick to him.
That's true. I saw someone else make a good point of too, like, why does he have that accent if he grew up on the back of the train?
Yeah. That's a good point too.
It's like a random thing. Like I understand maybe Mason because like he's around other people, but he's on the back of the train and no one else had an accent.
Right. And he was born on the train.
Yeah. So maybe there's somebody. I just thought there's like a funny thing I saw. It's not like a plot hole or anything like that, but it's just like a funny thing where it's just like, oh yeah, too. Why did he have an accent? That's no one else did that we even encountered.
We never met anybody with an accent, and we assume that Curtis would have kind of been like that father figure to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an accent, so why did he learn that?
I have no idea.
That's a good question.
But as we get through that scene, we got Mason becomes a hostage. They go through the garden. They go through the tank. Did you want anything to say about the garden at the tank or no? Because I want to jump into the classroom.
Looked cool.
Nah, it was cool. No, it did look cool, and apparently it was special effects. The tank. I thought it was real for whatever reason. Because I mean, just like a tank of fish and stuff. But I guess it would be pretty expensive to actually get those animals in there. But
why would they make that though for the train? Well, I guess it was meant to be like a luxury cruise train. So I guess it would just be like, yeah, okay. It doesn't actually have a practical function. It's just for swag, I guess. Yeah.
I think a lot of things don't have practical function on that train.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I liked the classroom scene because like I thought it was good because it was a good change of pace, like in tone too, like in the movie. And I feel like it gave a lot of things in the scene. So like, is there anything specifically like that you got from it, like character? Like we talked about all the things that happen with his characters and plot wise, but for you, is there anything specific from the classroom?
Well, like you said, the change of tone is really cool. Like it's very, very bright.
Yeah.
So and then the teacher is super like she's on her doing her like kid voice, right? So she's like, okay, and now we're gonna watch a video. Like just that change of tone is really jarring, and that was a good point. But I thought it was funny that the school is basically just like propaganda.
Yeah.
Like they're all just like, and Wilford is the best, and the sacred engine, and the if you go outside, we'll all freeze and die. And it's just like, holy shit, man. Like these are kids. It's just propaganda that they're pounding into their brains. It's like this isn't even class.
Yeah, I know, it's wild.
What are they learning here?
The song killed me though. The freaking
okay.
I forgot how it goes again. It's just like if we leave the train, we all freeze and die. I forget the cadence of how it went.
Yeah,
but like I wasn't ready for them to break out into song like that. Like chugga chugga chain, like what are rumble rumble.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it was good, but I also like as we get a little further on, there's like a club and there's all this stuff.
Yeah, true.
But I was like, think about like the linearness of the train, right? So I don't know where all they never show us like the living carts,
yeah, true.
So I don't know where they live necessarily. But like, do the kids have to walk through a nightclub? Like with like there's drugs and alcohol and they're all dressed really weird and they're partying. The kids have to walk through that to go to school? Like what the hell?
I didn't even take that in. That's a good point.
Like think about everything. Like if you were going to that sushi place or if you were going like you have to walk through everything.
Yeah. My benefit of the doubt is that they cut out those scenes where they walk through those spots that didn't matter. That's what I'm just assuming. But that's a hilarious thought. I'm imagining that's almost like an end scene where the kids, all right, kids, now we're walking home. You see the kids walking through all that nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. I got a nice my lunch box and there's people doing drugs and fucking on the couch in this nightclub right beside me. This is weird, man.
That's a good point. I didn't even take that in. I liked the one thing I did like about this scene too a lot was the just the surprise, like the bullet surprise, like how like they did it through the eggs and stuff like that. You open up the thing and said blood, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of rumors. Like I thought eggs were extinct. It's like, yeah, a lot of rumors that go around, and then they pull out the glass.
Bars.
The teacher, yeah, that was a bar. The teacher starts she freaking kills Andrew. I called him Little Dicky. He gave me a Little Dicky.
I can see, I can see that.
And then the way Gillian died too from freaking like Franco is the thing, or Flanco was the dude's name, like that crazy. I wrote it down.
His name?
They don't, but I remember I saw it on like IMDb, like, but I wrote it down later. I think it's like Flanco or something. Like that was brutal. The way he popped him and just dead eye into the camera, and and Curtis just
he's like that though. Like he's like a Terminator, dude. Like he just full out.
I called him the Undertaker.
About violence. Yeah, exactly. So he's just all about violence, man.
Oh my
he does not care about nothing else but getting bodies.
Oh, no,
but it was Gilliam
vicious.
gets popped, executed. Actually, another funny thing about like the credits are, I suppose, like the cast, the bald dude that comes through with the eggs.
Yeah,
he in the credits he's credited as Egghead.
Really?
Yeah, his name's Egghead.
That's hilarious. I reckon. I didn't see that.
Poor
Oh,
guy's bald, and his job is to bring in the eggs with guns in it. But that was a really good surprise. Like I knew it
oh
was coming,
yeah.
but on your first watch, I'm
Oh,
sure you didn't
no
see that
idea.
coming,
I
eh?
had no idea. And I was like, oh snap. I was really locked into like, okay, bullets are extinct. There's somewhat of a fair fight. That's why they had the whole like axe fight with them. So I was like, another misdirect. Because once you saw the axe fight, it's like, oh really? Yeah, guns are extinct. They're not even gonna try to fight with guns.
That's a good point. Why didn't they fight with guns there?
Just a
I li-
misdirect.
yeah,
Yeah, just a misdirect for us. But story wise, it's like, yeah, why would they
that
not
makes no
bring out the
sense.
guns
Why?
right there?
Yeah, why wouldn't they just be like, okay, we need to kill all these people? Just why? Yeah, you're what the heck? Why would they do that? But
I
yeah,
don't know.
in that scene, it was so good, especially because there was that switch of tone, right? Because I
Yeah.
felt like they weren't in danger at all. Like
Oh
before,
yeah.
when it's dark and then there's all the guys in masks, we're like, okay, there's about to be a fight. Like they're in danger. We get this.
Mhm.
And even right when they break through, when they start, the next car, we're like, we don't know what's going to be on the other side. They're not out of it yet. But then after that fight, and then they have Mason under their control so she can guarantee safe passage, and then they're in
Yeah.
school with kids. So I was like, I had no thought of them being in danger at all. And then
Yeah.
when that comes, like that big switch, like it kind of lulls you. It's like that James Harden, go between the legs 4 times,
yeah.
lull you to sleep, and
Yeah,
then
exactly.
blow by. So that's what they were doing. They were lulling me to sleep in the school. It was just an exposition dump. They have the
Oh, yeah.
videos saying how the train works, and then we
Yeah.
see the legend of the 7, those people
Yeah.
that died. So it was like all this exposition in a nice bright setting with kids and the teacher with her voice. I was like, okay, this is cool. And then bam, all the guns pull out. Like, whoa, it was
Yeah.
jarring. So it was done really well.
Yeah, because like you said, it was like it was a good point you mentioned. Is like we go from them just being like, okay, everything's like you got to be on edge. Someone might come us, but like now we got Mason though. We're chill now. Like we can relax a little bit because we have the leverage. And so
Yeah.
now we're going through our rooms like relaxed because no one's gonna mess with us, right? And then that whole surprise happens. And then and then Curtis is just cheesed. Then he pops her.
I did
She's
not
still
think he
begging.
was going to do that.
I did not think he's gonna do that either, too. Because I was like, yo, dude, that's your leverage. Still, at the end of the day, I know you're cheesed, but
Facts.
that's your leverage. And I was like, oh snap. I was like,
And I
all
still
right.
feel also like he was Cap a little bit. Like
Oh,
that, where
yeah.
I was like, okay, that's not Cap. That
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not
yeah.
Captain America. He would not do that.
No,
Like just
definitely
walk
not.
right up to her with a gun while she's
Yeah.
handcuffed, bow, shoot her in the head. I was like, shit, okay, that was hard.
No, that was all right. That was definitely a turning point in his character. And like he's slowly getting darker and darker. I mean, he's kind of already a dark character, but there was like you said, there's a little bit of that Cap in him where like as he's going through his own, I'm like, this is Cap. Like
Yeah.
it's not like we're saying like this is like not real. Like we're just saying this
Yeah.
is Cap.
That's
But
Cap.
like but that's Captain America, man. That's Captain America.
I did want to mention one more thing. This
Yeah,
was
with the class?
this was actually just before the school when they were eating sushi,
Yeah.
and then Mason was telling them about. She was like, "Oh, they only serve this twice a year,"
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, how come not enough fish?" She's like, "No, it's not about that. It's about balance." And she says, this is a closed ecological, like the aquarium is
Yeah.
a closed ecological system. So the number of units must be controlled to ensure sustainable balance. And I
Mhm.
thought that was interesting because it was, I think, very clearly a metaphor for the train,
Oh yeah.
being a closed ecological system, because it is, right? Like they can't get
Yeah.
off. So it's like, so that's the whole point of the movie is, right? That they need to control the individual number of, she said units, so to avoid saying people, but that's
Yeah.
what it is. So to keep balance. So I thought it was just a little foreshadowing that, again, that me having seen the movie, knowing
Yeah.
that that's what she was talking about. I thought that was a cool little foreshadowing moment.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of it like that. That's a very good point. And again, like obviously it's your second rewatch, but as you
Yeah.
even say, I'm like, yeah, that's completely what it was. Like I don't think
Definitely.
it wasn't like just something that she said because you're talking about the fish. She was like very clearly talking about like their whole situation. That's it's really interesting. But yeah, but like I said, like Curtis ends up popping her. And then we slowly get like like we are talking about. We see the dentist, we see the restaurant, we see the spa, and then there was that one scene that almost got my Ferris Bueller award, but I didn't give it my Ferris Bueller award. When what's his name, Falcon or no Falco? That I looked at his, yeah, I'm seeing it now. It's Franco the Elder. That was his
What?
name. Franco the Elder, and then the other dude that was like Bucky that freaking killed Elgar.
Yeah.
He was He was Franco the Younger.
What
So they're
the
related
hell?
or something? That's what it says. Yeah. That's what their credits were. Franco
Huh.
the Elder and Franco the Younger.
Maybe those are like maybe those are accurate
Ranks?
names to to the source material. Like maybe in the
Oh,
book,
okay.
maybe
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
there were characters that's what their name was because they never say that.
Yeah.
They
That's what I was
definitely never
thinking.
say that.
And I'm wondering, is that like a actual related thing, or is that just like maybe that's a rank?
Yeah,
You're the
yeah,
Franco
maybe.
the Elder. You're like the younger because you're the next one up or something. Because these guys look
Right.
nothing alike. One dude's a
Yeah.
full head of hair with a beard. The other dude's like this barely holding on to hair on top, like
No,
blonde.
you're
Like I
right.
don't.
It could be a rank thing. You're right. But
I'm
you were
just,
about to say the late, like almost late is them shooting across the.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's ridiculous. I'm just like, why are they wasting their bullets? I know they're not extinct, but
I thought especially for Curtis because at least Franco the Great or whatever
Yeah.
his name was, fucking, he has a scope.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, at least like he could actually hit a shot. Curtis just has like a little handheld one hand SMG.
Oh.
I'm like, there's no way you could hit him from here, dude.
Yeah, I just didn't understand why they even were doing that. It was just like
It was weird.
so-
And then because even like one of them shoots and then the bullet lands in the glass.
yeah.
And then the other one shoots and the bullet lands in the other glass and they stare each other down for a second. I'm like, first of all, you guys can't see each other. You're super far away. You can't see each other. And second of all, why are you guys doing this? It was weird. I didn't like that very much. You're right.
But the one scene I did like, and it's like it's not a big scene, but it's just something I want to talk about. I was talking about Franco. My thing is also too like talking about Franco, Elder, and Younger. I don't understand why they were so wild compared to the rest of the other guards. You know what I mean? Like specifically those two dudes. And we didn't even talk about the Younger got killed by freaking Nam's daughter when that was pretty
Ooh,
gruesome.
that was gruesome.
Maybe
You're right.
that's the thing that got those people in the comments section.
True.
Like that was, and he just kept going and going. Yeah, that was
sliding down the post, the spear that's in it. Oh
God,
yeah, that was
rough.
nasty. That was nasty.
But why were they so vicious compared to everybody else? I know there's no answer, but in my head I was like, everyone else seems normal. Because even when one dude was like, remember when they're opening up the spawn? He's like, don't shoot, because he's worried about civilians. Those guys didn't care about nothing. They're reckless. This dude's shooting through the freaking train. What if you let something in and you fuck up the train? You know what I mean? He doesn't care about nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're so reckless.
Even in that scene where they're shooting through the glass, there's a quick shot of the guy like patching the hole. He has it's like silly putty. It's like a paste or something that he's like putting in. He's trying to patch the holes, or the guy's just shooting more into the windows. He's like, "Fuck, bro, stop!" but I feel like they're your classic like right hand man to the villain, right? And they're the muscle kind of for the villain, and it's like Fade Rotha and Dude 2, you know, like they're just super aggro, and I think it's just a stereotype, and
it's just a prototype. Yeah, it is a prototype. You're right. It was just funny to me. Like it's not. I don't even hate. I'm not mad at it. It was just something I was like, this is hilarious, and I really liked the the sauna scene because a lot happened in there. We get 3 supposed deaths in there. We get the crazy fight scene unfold. We get Gray. Gray comes in clutch. Gray's the dude that you remember. Gray's the dude that did the whole surrender
jiu-jitsu
thing.
dude. Yeah, he's got he's like a supernatural man. Like the fact that he has the tattoos all over him, and then all of them just fight pretty brutally, barbarically. He comes in like he's wall running and throwing knives and shit.
Throwing his body too. The one thing, sacrificing himself, like
that was crazy.
Yeah, that was another gruesome thing too. Again, they didn't bother me that much. That is pretty gruesome though. That through the hand.
That's true.
Saving Curtis's. I was in that moment too. I was thinking I didn't think Curtis was gonna die, but I was like, "Yo, how is he? Like he's out cold." I didn't even realize that Gray was there, so I was like, "What's gonna happen here? Is he faking?"
Yeah, well, because he gets knocked out, and then Franco like slowly gets up. I was like, "Is he just gonna leave him there? Is he not gonna kill him?" Then he grabs a knife. I was like, "Okay." And I didn't even remember because I was like, "How does he not die here?"
Yeah,
because I didn't remember the Gray pulling out his hand.
Yeah,
but then he did. I was like, "Oh shit!" Would that actually stop a knife fully? Like I feel like if I was standing up, like putting my full weight down to stab you, and he was gonna stab him in the face, like holy shit, dude, bro, he was gonna. I just took that in. He had the knife. He was going to right down at his face.
God, yeah, I know that's a lot. Why not just go for the heart or something?
That's
Go in
like dude, you
yeah.
don't stab someone in the face. That's not a thing. That's insane,
Yeah, I know
dude.
that is why. I guess maybe he has to like do like a push up as he's blocking it, so it's like momentum. But yeah, I know you're right. The momentum would probably still win out on the
Yeah,
person
still,
up top,
yeah.
but it is
Hey,
what
it
it
was
is.
heroic.
It was
Yeah.
heroic. And then we even like he fucks up with Tanya too. Shout out Battle's mom, yo. She had it rough, man. Her son
Yeah,
finally
she
made
kind of
it,
went out
and
sorry though. Like, hey, she
yeah,
fought, like she tried to get the fight, but he just quickly turns and like pops her in the
yeah.
stomach, and she's just like she's
Not
toast.
instantly though. She slowly because they get the little scene with her. She's like, "Fine, Timmy."
Right.
So at least we get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
But
had her
she didn't at
motives.
least like but at least Gray came in and like he got a couple shot jabs in, you know,
Yeah,
like he
that's
stabbed
true.
him in the shoulder. He was able to stave Curtis. She didn't do nothing. She threw her
Nah,
body at him and instantly got taken out.
nah, that's true. And then we get the whole thing when Nam comes out protecting his and he just fucking they choke him out and then Curtis finally wakes up, stabs him. But we realize that this isn't like this man. That's why I called him the Undertaker because we
Oh
get
yeah.
later him rising up. Like, I just laughed when that happened. Honestly, I was like, "No way, this guy is
I wish
still
there was
alive."
like a big gong
Done.
too, like as the under like bong right as he wakes up. Yeah, he,
Because
he gets up crazy like that. That was crazy.
it was
Because
wild.
he gets choked out and how was he not dead? This
That's
guy's
what I mean.
crazy.
That's why I called him the Undertaker because I was like, initially I was like, oh, this guy's like the Terminator, he's just fucking coming in. But then when he did that, the kick up like the Undertaker, I was like, this guy's Undertaker. That's all it is. But that leads us like right to the climax of the movie, basically. So like once they go through the party room, we get the whole again like there's a lot here. The Curtis gives the origin story, Nam gives his plan, the Wilfred reveal with his relationship with Gillian, the kids, the explosion. So what do you want to talk about first? You want to go in the origin story? You talking about the
I'll just go general. I think
okay
to start like the ending here, I thought it was a little slow. Like it's a
okay
lot of talking.
yeah
It's a lot of like it's our actors that like Chris Evans gets his monologue. And what did you think of like his performance in that specific scene?
I actually
I'm
liked
gonna
it.
ask you.
I liked it because to me it showed me a side that we haven't seen. Well, that I haven't seen from Chris Evans. Like because I haven't seen. There's like some reference movies that our boy JB said that he saw him in. That he's like, this is how I knew he could do other stuff besides Captain America. Someone told me to watch these movies, and I was like, okay, I could see that. But though I haven't seen those movies, a movie called like Sunshine and something
Yeah.
called Puncture, and I haven't seen those movies. I've only ever seen them as freaking the Human Torch, Captain America, and not another teen movie. So I've only seen him be an asshole, and then Captain America. So I've never seen him do anything emotional, and I actually thought he delivered it pretty well. So I didn't mind it. And then I was just so in on just the shock of hearing the story that I didn't mind it because I was like, oh snap! I didn't realize this was like a whole thing, and it clears up so much of what was going on in the movie. But what was your thoughts? Because you said you thought it was too much.
Well, it's a good. Yeah, you're right. Like the story itself is really good. It's a great twist, and like having him and you're right. It's great for his character to reveal kind of why he doesn't want to be in charge. You know, he's like, I was at the deepest depths. You know, I was prepared to. I killed a woman, was about to eat her baby. Like this guy was absolute sicko. I mean, you get it because he was in the situation that he's in, like in the circumstances. You can kind of understand why that's where he got to, but still, like that's pretty freaking low. So you know he carries all that guilt with him. But I don't know. I thought his performance left a little to be desired. I thought his delivery, like I could tell he was sad about it.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I thought it was a whole lot of just like slow delivery, kind of rubbing his head. Like it was. I don't know. I didn't fully buy it.
Okay,
but it definitely wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But I also think that because kind of like I said, the ending in general, it's a lot of just talking. Like you said, it's him telling the story, then it's Nam telling us about his plan, and then Wilfred telling us about, you know, the whole mutiny setup, and like it's all just telling us why everything's happening. It's a whole lot of talking. I didn't like it as much as I thought it could have been.
Okay, that's interesting because like I get this go works. Again, I don't think it's a whole situation where, because you said you liked the movie. It's not a situation where we're talking about like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm
I,
not
I
saying
love
it's
this movie. I hated this movie. Let's talk about it. But like, I actually have a completely different like opinion on it. Where
okay.
I actually, I agree with you to a certain extent. I'm because now when you're saying it out loud, I'm like, yeah, true. It was a lot of talking compared to how the movie was like going. But to me, I liked it just because it cleared up so many things, and there was so much twist in there that I was so, because again, this is my first watch, and I guess as a second time watch for you, you can analyze it more, and then maybe you're thinking like, yeah, that kind of is a lot of talking. Maybe you thought, did you think that on the first watch too, or it's more so on the second watch you were realizing like, yeah, I guess it is kind of a lot of
I think you're right. Actually, I think on the first watch I didn't realize it, and it was more on the second watch where I'm like where I already know all the twists. So I guess so for me it's kind of just like yeah, I get it. You know, you're keeping them alive, so they make kids for you, so you can use them as parts. And yeah,
yeah,
you set all this up with Gilliam, so you can lower the population. Like I know, I get it. Like
yeah,
but you're right. If you're for your first time, you don't know any of that, so
yeah,
like you have to be told it somehow. But I feel like maybe there is a better way to either speed it up or break it up a little bit, so it's not just like back to back to back, just like
yeah,
monologues, just conversation. You know, maybe there's a better way to structure it so it's a little more interesting. But yeah, but you're right. Like as for the viewer, for a first time viewer, there's still a lot of loose ends that you have to clean up. So you have to explain it some way. But I thought I thought it could be done a little bit better.
no, and honestly, like, no, that's a good point. And that's a good point, and I agree that maybe the kid reveal could have been done differently, or like I don't like on the spot I can't think of how some of these reveals would have done differently. But like you said, it is that first time viewing because when you think about like you said, I'm watching for the first time and I'm suddenly getting hit with all these twists. So you're just getting like you're pumped about it, right? You're like, oh snap! It's
True.
almost like wait really? That's like you've been collecting these because you want to make a bomb. Like wait, you used to eat people. Wait, that person that was gonna kill that kid was you? Oh wait, you actually working with? Wait, what? Wait,
Yeah,
the kid? That's where Timmy is. Like, so I'm just like, what? So I'm not even thinking that these all be delivered me through just talking. But if I watched it again, I'd probably be thinking like, oh okay, yeah, now I see his point. But for the first
yeah.
time, it's just like,
You're right. That is a
yeah,
great point. Like the shock value of the twists themselves is enough to carry the scene to keep you engaged and keep you
yeah,
interested. So as a first time viewer, and that does make sense. And you're probably right. That's probably what I don't remember exactly my experience the first time I watched it, but that probably was what it was because I remember watching this movie and I don't remember being as critical about the ending. Like I
yeah,
remember being like, oh, this movie slapped front to back,
mhm,
and the twists are great.
yeah,
But like as for on the rewatch, it's really slow.
mhm,
But you're right. Like that does make sense, and I didn't have that point of view this time. But that's a great point. Like you said, that all the twists of like, oh shit, like you're not an addict. You're actually getting all this stuff so you can
yeah,
blow this up. And then when they snag those coats so they can go outside,
mhm,
and yeah, all these twists and turns was it is definitely really engaging for your first time. And yeah, I don't know exactly how you could structure it differently or make it different to make it a little more interesting on a rewatch, but I'm just critiquing it. But
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that because like I'm even thinking, I'm like I'm thinking in my head too. I'm like, yeah, like how else would you just deliver the bomb thing like a different time? Maybe he tells somebody on the side, but like, I don't know if
right.
that. Again, we don't have to figure it out right now. But I'm just thinking. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like there probably is another way to like deliver these surprises, maybe throughout, or just maybe in different ways that doesn't have to be just like said. I don't know, but that is a good point. And I want to rewatch and see like how I feel. Like I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it with my sister or someone else that hasn't seen it and be like, and just like their reaction is probably gonna be kind of like mine. If they'll be like, oh snap, and then I'll be like, how did you think about the ending? And like I'll be curious to ask them. Let me
Yeah.
analyze them. What do you think about that? Too much talking or not?
As they're watching the scene, you're just like in their face, staring at their facial
Yeah, I'm
expressions.
just gonna be like, what do you
Are
think?
you locked in? Do you enjoy this, or is this slow? What do you
Too
think?
much talking? Well, get out of my face so I can watch the movie. And well, that like I
No,
didn't
but
like the ending because Snowpiercer. Because my brother was watching me for 20 minutes.
Breathing down my neck while I'm trying to watch the movie. That's why I didn't like the ending. No, yeah, it is interesting to hear from our two different
Perspective.
perspectives, and yeah, I don't know if kind of sprinkling some of the twists in throughout the movie so that it wouldn't be as long all at the
Yeah.
end, because it's a lot. all at the end. Like,
Yeah,
you said,
no, it
all
is.
these twists, they're all explaining all this. So if they could have maybe spaced it out, maybe that would have been a better way to do it. But now that I think about it, because there's when it's revealed when Mason says the kids went to Wilford, like Wilford likes kids.
Yeah.
Were you like, oh, is this guy a sicko? Like,
Yeah, no, yeah,
that's
I
what
know.
you're thinking.
At first, I was thinking, I was like, "What the hell's going on?" Yeah, no, I was a
Yeah.
little weirded out, but I didn't know if he was like eating them. Like, I didn't know how dark
my
we were
God.
getting. I don't know. I don't know how. Hey, Chris said babies taste the best, so maybe Wilford figured that out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, those are
that's
crazy lines to deliveries. Like, I feel, but that's what I mean. Like, in that moment when he's like, you know, I hate this about myself that I know what people taste like, and I know the babies are the best. Like, that's absolute demon shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
sick stuff that you're talking about.
It
Like,
really
that's really bad. And he's not. I don't know. I don't buy that he's that eaten up
Upset.
inside about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're making a joke, but
No,
you're
no,
saying
yeah, no
eating
pun
them.
intended. Yeah.
But it's interesting. I'll gotta rewatch it. Again, because like
I have
I'm
different opinions. That's
no, yeah,
fine.
no. But I want to see it again and like really like focus on the performance. Because well, I mean, yeah, but yeah, no. Now you got me thinking. This is
Yeah.
good. This is why we do this. Where I have these
Yeah,
discussions.
exactly.
We give different opinions, and just how's the other person thinking about it. That's interesting. It's definitely got me wanting to rewatch. Maybe not watch the whole rewatch the whole movie. Again, I'd rewatch this movie, but maybe just see that scene again, just to see how I feel about it. But
my only other like question kind of at this point is like,
Yeah.
is it meant to be a happy ending? Like when she goes outside with Timmy, like because the whole train blows
Yeah,
up, like
exactly.
everybody else is dead,
yeah,
and we're led to believe that this is all of humanity. But they come outside and they don't die right away. We see the polar bear, so we're like,
Yeah.
okay, they can survive out there, so the
Yeah.
Earth at least is warming up. But if all of humanity's dead, what the fuck does that matter?
yeah, no, that's true.
You know what I mean?
I guess it's like a mixed bag because at first, my first thought was like, they're cooked. That polar bear is gonna kill them.
Yeah,
That's my first, like the way he was looking at him, like, yo, food. Because how much food is he seeing? He looks healthy.
Yeah, not
Looks
much.
like he's been eating though.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, but it should be. Yeah, you're right. He does look healthy. I was
Yeah.
gonna say if it should be not much if only life is starting to come back, but
But he looked,
yeah, they're
like-
probably fucked. Maybe they get another Chronol bomb.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's been people on Earth. It's one of those kind of movies where it turns into like The Walking Dead and they start going
I
around.
kind of was thinking that too. Like I feel like every movie or TV show is like that, where it's like all of humanity is here, and it's like no, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, it's
We found
true.
other
Like how do you?
survivors.
How do you know there's not a bunker in Northern Europe that people are? You know,
Exactly.
that people went into a bomb shelter and they've been living there for the last 17 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. No,
You don't know.
100%. That is The Walking Dead, bro. Like you watch The Walking Dead, you think the people with them are survivors. Spoiler, we're not really, but like as they go through the show, they find so many different people.
exactly.
And it's
and
like,
the
okay.
100, you remember the 100?
Oh, that's another show I was gonna use too. Yeah, it's just like
All of humanity's in space. They come down and there's tribes of people. We're like, bruh,
That's what I'm saying.
on.
That's how you keep it going. And I never watched the TV show for this. I'm sure it goes around those. They play with those themes.
yeah,
I'm
you're
sure
right. There's
some
a
point
TV
in-
show, and there's the book that it's based on. It's actually a series,
Yeah.
so
Like a graphic
maybe
novel
there's more
series,
in
right?
there too. But
No,
I
it's
don't
true.
know.
Yeah. Well, apparently the original illustrator, like for the graphic novel, actually drew those pictures. You know the pictures of the guy that was constantly like sketching them?
oh,
That was actually the guy that actually drew for the original
that's sick.
graphic novel. It was a cool like little thing. I was like, oh shit, just get his work in there.
Yeah, that's
It's
dope.
like a little
I didn't know
small
that.
thing. Yeah, and I saw that and I was like, oh, that's sick. Just I didn't think he was still alive, but I was like, why would he be alive? It's 1982. I was thinking like he was old back then, maybe, but he probably
Well,
still is
could've-
old now.
If he was like 40 at the time, that
Yeah,
was 40
maybe.
years ago. He could be. You know, it's not impossible that he could have died. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously it's
and-
not possible. You could die at any time, but
yeah, exactly. But still be able to draw
Another
on him.
question I had was
Okay.
not a question, but the Wilford says
Mhm.
to Curtis, he says, "Congratulations, you're the first and only person that has walked the whole distance of this train front to back."
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't think that's true because they routinely steal children from the tail.
Yes.
So wouldn't they have walked?
That's a
Wouldn't
good
they have
point.
walked the whole train?
It's a good point. I didn't even take that in.
He's fully lying. And when Tommy comes out and he has the little kid coat on, I'm like, they had a coat for 2 adults. Where did he get this small coat?
Oh yeah, it's true. That's
Those
a
are
good
my
point.
2 beeps at the end of the movie.
Okay, that's good. I didn't even catch that. I did not catch that. I didn't even. Yeah, to me, I thought he was like swimming in the coat, but yeah, it actually fit him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It should have been massive on him. Like
Yeah.
that was because it was Yona and
Nam.
Nam got one for himself.
Yeah,
And
that
then
would have been his coat.
Tommy's was perfectly tailored down to him. Wow.
He's quick work with his hands, yo. He's
Yeah, you're right.
he tailored that shit quick. No, the
he's been
explosion
training
perfectly.
doing
It only exploded the parts that he did that was hanging off of him, and the explosion tailored it to his body.
Yeah, it singed 4 inches off the sleeve and 6 inches off the bottom of the coat perfectly. Yeah,
You don't know what those that chrono explosion, bro.
yeah. They placed the bomb perfectly. They hung up the jacket, so it was. Yeah, no, you're right. That's probably exact. It was all planned.
It was all planned. Speaking of beef, so you kind of teased it. Let's get into them with our awards.
The awards. All right, let's do it.
Let's
So
get into it.
let's do the filmies. We're gonna jump right in with our fit check. Best or worst fit of the movie, Dion.
Okay, so my fit check. This one was another one of those movies. I was like, we always talk about how it's a little tough.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot.
There's not a lot here because majority of people we're spending our time with are in rags. This is very Captain Phillips esque. Like, well, that's always gonna be the reference when it's tough to find a fit check. It's like
that
Captain
one had absolutely nothing.
Yeah, this one had a little bit more, and I felt like I was stretching because as they were, I was like, let me look through the parties, all the things that they walked through, and I was like, I'm not feeling any of these. I'm not even gonna pretend. I'm gonna be like, you'll be all excited about it, like, yo, that girl in the I wasn't feeling any of those. So I'm not mailing it in, but I kind of liked it because I've never seen. It's the sushi chef.
Oh, okay.
I've never actually. Usually, I feel like they should wear a white and then they wear a white hat. He put some effort into his. It's a classic like sushi. I'm like, I say sushi. It's a classic
of the
sushi.
big Zoe 101 fans out there.
Yeah, look at that. But it was just like, it was like maybe like a salmon kind of red, and then there was like a little bit of a design on it. It wasn't much. I'm sorry, guys. I know it sounds like I'm mailing it in, but you gotta help me out here. There wasn't much going on in this movie, so that just got me to say sushi. So I say sushi, and that's what
and
I
he
gave
had a
it
hard
to.
fit.
And
Okay,
he had a hard fit. So that was my fit
nice.
check. Well, what about you?
Yeah, mine. I thought it was just pretty clean. It goes to Mason.
Okay.
At the start of the movie when she first comes to the tail, when that guy throws his shoe, so they got to punish that dude.
Yeah, Andrew,
so
Dicky.
Yeah, when little Dicky goes to save his son, and his arm gets frozen and snapped off. That was nasty.
Yeah, that was messed up.
But so she's got on like a matching purple skirt and jacket, like pantsuit kind of thing. But she had this huge golden fur coat over top.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That was fucking sick. I don't know what kind of fur it was supposed to be, like fucking lion fur or something. I don't know how they even got that shit on this train, but it was just a big ass fur coat. And for me, that's what I was like, okay, nah.
Yeah, that's fresh.
This is getting my fit.
I'm not mad at it. There was a couple of fur coat. I almost gave it to that's how lazy I was gonna get. I was gonna give it to their suit, their snow suit. Because I was like, oh, it was a fresh.
I thought about that too. It was kind of clean. She had the boots, like even she had the fuzzy boots. It wasn't bad, bro.
I get that. To me, that's just us mailing it in. I'm glad we both picked something else. I like your fit though. I like your fit. I thought about giving it to Mason too, but I was like,
and she had those big glasses.
Yeah, no,
the glasses
true.
were kind of a statement.
I think her teeth were stunted too. Didn't she got something?
Yeah, you're right. She had a gold tooth because she takes them out at one point.
Yeah,
I have no idea why she even did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, no, I thought that was, like you said, in this movie they're all poor people that have they're all just in rags. So
exactly,
there wasn't a ton of fits, but
no,
we got a couple clean ones. I like it. We're gonna move to our Nas Reed 6-man award. So someone with a small role that made the most out of it. Who receives your Nas Reed award?
So I was purposely saving, not giving away. I purposely didn't talk about these because I wanted to save it till I got to this point.
Okay.
So mine goes to Gray. And I purposely didn't talk about these because I wanted to save it till I got to this point. So mine goes to Gray. And I purposely didn't talk about these because I wanted to save it till I got to this point. So mine goes to Gray. The
Okay.
guy that, because I feel like he came clutch in this movie. He barely talked.
Facts.
I feel like he looks like Tyler Posey. Shout out to anybody that
Did
watched
he ever
Teen Wolf.
talk?
I don't know if he ever did.
I don't even think he has any lines, bro.
I don't think he. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, because he does this dire surrender thing with his
Right,
arm,
yeah, yeah.
and it's like, yeah, I don't think he actually does have any words. Because yeah, it's
No,
like
I don't
everyone
think so.
talks to him, and he just like nods his head. Maybe he didn't speak English. That's what I'm assuming.
Maybe.
That's why he didn't talk. But yeah, I thought he looked like Tyler Posey. I don't know if any of you even know who that is. You know who Tyler Posey is?
Yeah, you're right.
I do this a lot in movies. I don't know. I see someone, I'm like, that looks like Lil Dicky. This looks like
Yeah.
Tyler Posey. But I thought like when the way Gillian set it up too, when he was with them, you know, like when they're first, when they had like that big, I don't even know what it was. It was like that big like I don't know what it was.
All those the
things
big
combined.
tube thing?
Yeah, tube. I didn't want to call it a tube because it's like I didn't know what it was. I'll call it a tube.
It's a
They had the
tube.
big tube and they like smashed everything. They had like that big like freaking Goliath dude just swing at him, right? And you
like the
talked
final
about a little
boss.
bit, yeah, like that final boss thing. And Gillian goes to him, he's like, "I'm fine, Gray. You go now." And him just taking off his shirt and the run. I was like, "Oh, this is hard." And then he he does that little run. He jumps, gets on the big dude's shoulder, and just like starts slicing him. That was the first time I sat up in my seat. I was like, "Yo," because just the way he jumped off the wall and got onto his shoulders, I swear I thought he was gonna do like a reverse hurricanrana or some shit.
Bro, I thought that was some Rey Mysterio shit. Yo, I thought he was about to swing, throw him on the ropes. he's hanging on the tube. Everyone's like, whoa. Comes around 619s him. That'd be fucking amazing.
And bro, it's funny you say that because it's the perfect thing that his name is Gray, because I said he's Gray Mysterio, bro.
Gray Mysterio.
Gray Mysterio.
Oh, that's perfect, bro. You're right.
Perfect. I was like joking. I was like, this guy's like Mysterio. And then I realized his name was Gray. I'm like, yo, he's Gray Mysterio.
That's amazing.
Literally,
that's
Gray.
Amazing.
And
he's perfect.
That's what I'm saying. And I think he's Latino. I don't know if he's Mexican,
maybe.
But I'm assuming that, I swear, it's Gray Mysterio. That's my sixth man. He
100%.
saved Curtis in the sauna. That was clutch. He saved him twice, actually. I remember he threw his body when they were in the dark room too, to save somebody. I think it was for Curtis too. Yeah, because like a guy was coming to hit him from behind and he just ran through his body.
Wasn't
like,
that Edgar?
Was it Edgar?
I thought it was Edgar.
That he saved? Okay, well he saved Curtis.
No, it was Edgar that threw his body. Wasn't that Edgar? Was it Gray?
It was dark.
I thought it was Edgar.
I don't know. I was dark. I don't know.
We'll give it to Gray. We'll say it was Gray.
We'll say
that was Gray Mysterio.
That was Gray Mysterio, bro.
And not only that, also in the school, in the classroom, when the teacher's shooting, he's the one that he gets up and throws the knife in her neck.
Oh yeah, hit her in the neck. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was balling, bro.
He was balling. That's sad when he died.
Pick.
I was sad when he died. That little, it was gruesome too, dude. Just getting him his own hand. I'm like, damn, bro. What about you? What was your sixth man?
That's a great pick. I'm a little cheesy. I don't have it as mine, but mine, I give my sixth man to the girl in school.
Oh,
so one. Yeah, okay, you know what
that was my honorary.
She was out of pocket for no reason, dude. I have two of her quotes written down. She was like literally for no reason. She gets up and just screams this. No one even asked her about anything. She's like, I heard all tail sectioners were lazy dogs who slept all day in their own shit. And we're like, what the fuck? First of all, you're like 9. Where did you hear this? And why did you bring this up in this moment? No one even asked you. That was crazy.
Why do you feel safe? If you really are supposed to think these people are crazy, why would you say that in front of them?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point too.
Wild.
There's like 6 of them right here. Yeah, she had audacity, man. She did not care.
And then the second line.
The second line, yeah, when the teacher was explaining about the old world, and she's like, old world people were friggin' morons who got turned into popsicles.
That's crazy.
Like, oh my god. You're talking about the end of the world, everybody freezing to death, and you're just she was cooking, man. She had those 2 lines, and she jumped up and balled the fuck out for those 2 lines, and that's why she got my award.
She was leading as my sixth man until Gray did the save, and then that's when I switched it. But 100% for those 2 reasons. I literally wrote all those 2 lines too, and I was like, "Yo, it's
craziness,
crazy."
Yeah, she's wild. But I think Gray should be this. I should have gone with Gray. You're right. You made a great case for him. Gray Mysterio. Come on now, that's fucking sick. That's amazing.
But in your defense with your six man, she was more of a six man than Rashida. I feel like we tried to do like if you can find the tiniest role that did something like impactful, she had a very tiny role, and you remember her. There's no
She
other
did.
kids that did anything in that besides the kid
Yeah,
saying,
no,
"Oh, I saw your kid
exactly.
walk from the front to the back." But she came out swinging.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she came out with a fire under her ass. But I don't know, Gray, like he definitely wasn't a starter. He's definitely eligible. I think is a great pick because in theory your six man's the first one off the bench.
That's true.
You know, so I mean, there's no real rules around it. We're just having a good time. But like but I think those are both great picks. So.
It's funny you say the off the bench thing because now I'm imagining as Gillian as the coach when he said, "I'm fine, Gray. You go now." It's like, and he took off the thing like he took off his warm ups. Now I'm really putting it in that scenario.
Yo, you're totally right. He's like, it was. I mean, six man is for ball.
Yeah.
But imagine if it's like a wrestling.
Yeah.
Thing. Or no, think about it like this. He was like
or something.
That dude was the big boss was like LeBron, and then there's that Kawhi. Like that's Kawhi getting off the bench to go guard
true.
LeBron.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that was Gilliam was Popovich. He's like, no, I'm okay. You go take the warm ups off. Go take out LeBron, and he's just Gray Mysterio. He's got to be the sixth man.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Good fucking shit. We're gonna move to our Ferris Bueller Lazy Award.
All right.
So, anything someone did or the movie did that was lazy, let me know. Who gets your Ferris Bueller Award?
We briefly talked about it, and it was the aquarium. To me, I just give it. I give it to the. I guess I don't know who gets that. I guess it's is it Wilfred? I don't know how much he had into like making each section. I know he made the engine. I don't know how much he did for the whole design or everything. To me, I think it's just a waste of resources.
Okay.
When you consider that, like how things are going extinct and like, oh, we don't have these many pieces. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe you should have, when you were building this shit, you should have decided, do we need an aquarium to have sushi? And we can only have sushi for maybe like 2 times in a year. Like, what are we doing? Let's stock another station up on parts or something. You know what I mean? Like, to me, the aquarium was like, there's a lot of useless spots. Like, but hey, people want to party, people want to do their drugs, they want to have their restaurants, whatever. That's just like human things. But the aquarium, we got to draw a line somewhere. That wasn't so much of a like. I think the aquarium is. Yeah, I don't think we need that one.
I don't disagree with you, but the only pushback that I'll give, or the only defense that I'll have for Wilfred, or whoever, would be that the train wasn't designed for like a end of the world, like housing all people thing.
I guess that's true.
They said it was designed to be like a passenger, like cruise ship, basically. So it's meant to be like luxury and leisure. So that would be like, oh, you want to go to the aquarium and check it out. So
that's a good point.
I guess that's why it was there. But you're right. Like in the story wise, like it's a gross misuse of space.
It really is. And it bothered me. I don't know why. I wrote it down instantly. I was like, what the hell do they have an aquarium for?
I mean, that's kind of pretty much not the same as my aquarium or as my lazy award, but very similar. And mine, it goes to like the crew, like everyone that's advancing, for stopping to eat sushi. Like, bro, you're in the middle of a mutiny. You just were in a fight with all these guards.
Mm-hmm.
You're on your way to the front. Why are you chilling so this guy can make you sushi? You're just chilling for a nice dinner before you continue on. Like, people are dying behind you. What are you doing? Get going.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
These motherfuckers stop for sushi in the middle of a revolution. What are they doing?
Even the classroom, they didn't have to stick for the song and the video.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
As soon as they said, yeah, we saw them walk through, they're like, all right, thanks. Let's go. They stayed for pleasantries. What the hell's wrong with them, man?
Yo, they were stopping to smell the roses at every car, bro. They were fucking lazy as shit, dude. This movie was 3 times as long as it had to be, bro. They could have just kept because when they go to the club, they don't stop and dance.
That's what
they just walk through. Like, when they get to the sauna, they don't chill for like a steam room. You know, imagine they're like, okay, everybody take a load off for a second. Why are the sushi place where they're like, okay, let's stop and eat? What the fuck?
It's so true. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, yeah, Curtis, you're right. You're not a leader, bro. What the hell are you doing?
Exactly, dude.
Your
priorities are so out of whack. He was like, all right, hey, I made it to the front. I'm gonna have some sushi.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chill in this sauna. This is gonna be great.
And then when he gets
Piece
to
of
Wilfred's
shit.
place, he doesn't want to eat a steak. What a piece of shit. Yo.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I'll have the
Now you
sushi, but the
don't.
steak, that's where I draw the line. Fuck
Exactly.
you. You're right. This guy sucks, man. Fuck this guy. And he even like was about to take on the role as like the next leader of the train. It was until he saw the kid, until he saw like the kid thing, and he was like, no, fuck you, you suck.
Yeah,
But
I was
like,
gonna ask you that. Yeah, do you think he was gonna take it?
yeah, it looked
It did
like
seem,
it.
yeah, it did look that way.
Yo,
Yeah,
it
that's
looked
true.
like he was pissed off about like him and Gilliam orchestrating the uprising to lower the population. But he was like, okay, I guess I kind of understand it. But then he saw the kid and he was like, nah, fuck you. But like, I won't eat your steak. That sushi slap though.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm
That's
I'm not a
crazy.
steak guy, but I didn't
Yeah,
even
I'm
think
not a
about that until
yeah.
until you mentioned them being lazy. I'm like, yeah, this motherfucker didn't want to eat the steak though. Why?
Maybe that's why he didn't want the steak. He's like, sorry, I'm a little full
Yeah,
from lunch.
yeah,
I just had, I just had, he's medium rare. I'm gonna have to pass. Sorry, I just had a big sushi meal.
It's not gonna
Sorry,
sit
bro.
well with my.
And he's like, you just had the sushi? I won't be able to have that for 6 more months. What the hell? Why did he even feed them the sushi, bro?
Yeah,
They
that's
said they
true.
get it once a year and they gave it to these poor bums. There's a whole lot of plot holes with the food in this movie, man. We're poking a lot of
Picking it
holes
apart.
here.
Yo, JB, I got some comments
JB,
for you.
bro.
I got
You
some
need
comments
a
for you.
food consultant on your movie sets, bro.
Think
'cause
about this when you're
there's-
making Mikey or Mikey 17.
Yeah, just keep the food out of it. Don't even fuck with the food. So we're gonna move now to the best quote.
Okay.
Self-explanatory. What was your favorite quote?
I think it's a quote that I picked this quote specifically because it's a quote that's gonna stick with me. That I'm just gonna say it. You know what I hate about myself? I know what people taste like. I know babies taste best. I'm never gonna forget that.
Oh,
Like when I
that's
think of this movie,
crazy.
that's the line that like attached to. It's like the "I'll be back" in Terminator. Like the babies taste best thing. Like I've never heard that in a movie. I don't
That's
know
what
if
I mean. How fucking sick is that? Like, just even as a concept, like,
Yeah,
oh
no,
my
it's-
god.
Yeah, I know it is messed up, and that's why it's my quote because it's gonna stick with me.
Yeah.
gonna
No,
stay with me.
it's a great quote. Well, you know.
Yeah, I know.
It's great
I know what you
in that
mean.
sense. Like you say, like it'll stick with you because that's
Yeah.
just the thought of that is so
It is
messed up. The concept behind it, like cannibalism already is friggin' sick. And
Yeah.
then babies, like, oh my god. But that's what I mean. Like, I feel like if that were real and you actually did that, you'd have so much trouble even saying it out loud.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like
that's true.
like just talking about it. And I feel like he doesn't give me. I've gone on about it enough.
Yeah,
Great
no,
quote.
I feel you. I
Great
feel
quote.
you. But what about you? What was your favorite quote?
So mine goes to Curtis as well,
Okay.
and this is right after the big fight scene when he's talking to Gilliam. I kind of mentioned earlier. He says, "How can I lead when I have two good arms?"
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I thought that was really powerful for his character because, it just shows the guilt
Mhm.
of his character, right? We don't really learn at the end why there's guilt there, but,
Yeah.
in his character, it's there.
Yeah.
So, the guilt of him, because we learn, Gilliam cut off his own arm they would have food instead of eating babies. So he's like, how can I lead when I didn't give my two arms? I was about to eat a baby. Like I can't be a leader. You know what I mean? He could have done more, but also that I thought it was good. Another reason I really liked it because it shows that he's like self-aware about his past.
Yeah.
Like he's like, okay, I can't be a leader because I did all this bad shit, but that's the sign of a good leader, right? So it's like, yes, you did all this bad shit, but at least you know that it was wrong. So like, you can avoid from doing it again. It's not just like a classic bad guy that did something bad but doesn't know it was bad or doesn't care. So at least it shows that. So I thought it was that was a great quote for his character, and that's why it was my favorite.
Yeah, it's true. And in the end, he actually did up giving his and that was another part too that we didn't.
True.
I mean, we're talking about it now, so it doesn't really matter. But the fact that he actually ended up giving up. I don't know if his whole arm came off because they didn't show it. You know, like when he heard like the crunch and then he stood back up, he's kind
Yeah.
of holding his arm. We don't
I think it
actually
was
know
like
if
his forearm, maybe like maybe
the
at the
whole
elbow,
forearm
around the
gone.
elbow.
Yeah, so he actually did sacrificing his arm. And again, it's through that story of them hearing about like everyone cut off their limbs and stuff, and he couldn't do it. He finally had that moment. So that makes the line even more powerful, because it's like, okay, we're leading. What does he mean? I have two good arms, and then
Yeah, originally, honestly, I thought it was because earlier in the movie when the guy throws the shoe and then he has to stick his arm out
yeah.
and they break it off. I thought it was more like that. Like,
Oh, okay.
how can I lead when I haven't, stood up to the man and
Yeah, and they
like
got
gotten
punished like
punished
that.
for
Mm.
trying to get us out. Like I've just stood on the sidelines, like I'm not doing enough. That's kind of what I thought it
Mhm.
meant. But then hearing the story after, where it's like, okay, no, he meant it like so he didn't eat babies. But
Yeah.
I thought it was more like the sticking the arm out and like getting punished for trying to fight back. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of what I thought it was at that moment.
Mhm. And I didn't even know what to think when I was hearing that. I was just like, I don't know what he's talking about. And like, bro, I don't think I'm a leader either. I don't know if I'm cutting off my arm. He got here.
Yeah.
We're not in that situation, but that just sounds so
Yeah.
wild. I'm like, yo, Curtis, what you're feeling is normal. You're a 17-year-old kid. I don't think most people aren't cutting off their freaking limbs.
Yeah, but most people aren't also eating babies.
That's true. Hey, kids will be
So-
kids. Kids will be kids.
Damn, that's crazy. So we're gonna move to the best scene. What was your best scene?
My best scene was the tunnel scene. So it was specifically the tunnel scene when the fire came in. Like that shit just got me so hyped. And again, shout out Grey Mysterio. I kind of forgot about this till I'm seeing it in my notes of like him running through with the torch, like he had the Olympic torch. Like he grabbed it from Andrew and then started running in, and he's like brought the flames and everything. I thought it looked so cool. It was badass. The cinematography looked great. I talked about how we talked about how it was there was no additional lighting. It was literally just that, which added even more to it, because I didn't know that until I researched. I was like, oh, I love the scene even more for that. And it was just, yeah, it just really surprised me that it was just that came all together. Like once the tunnel came and they put on their glasses or their goggles and stuff, and it was like, oh shit, they're fucked. What are they gonna do? I just assumed the way it was gonna end is that light would come. I didn't expect like that. That was another twist for me of like, oh no, we're gonna bring the fire, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. So that was my favorite scene, because it just
No, you're
so
right.
cool.
Yeah, you're right. It looks sick. Like the fire. Yeah, it looks amazing. Honestly, like the action. Like I said, I kind of feel like they use maybe a little too much slow mo, in my opinion.
That's fair.
But you're right. Like with the train moving and like seeing the light flashes in and out as they pass like the icebergs or ice caps or whatever. Then all the light going out, and it's a great scene. And that's our first certified of the day, brother.
Let's go.
Certified. That's my
Let's
best
go.
scene too. Bro, I mean, I can't look away, dude. Like when I noticed it, like after the scene was over, I was like, oh shit, I didn't write any notes down because I was just locked in watching the movie. I was like, I can't look away from this. Like the action's going crazy, and like they have the upper hand, and then the lights go out, and then the bad guy, like the rich people, have the upper hand.
Yeah.
So like, and it's happening actually really quickly. So like, I'm just like, I can't look away. This is I have to be locked in. This is incredible. And also there's the big moments for Curtis and Mason, like I had talked about before, when he's choosing between Edgar and Mason, and then when she's kind of shows that selfishness, and so I thought that was in the scene as well. But just an awesome scene. Like when I think of this movie, I think of that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
It's sick.
That's the scene. I mean, there's a lot of good scenes, but I feel like that's like the oh yeah. Oh yeah, the fire
100%.
scene. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well deserved, certified. And we're gonna move to our last but not least, the MVP. So the whoever stood out to you most, who gets the MVP for you?
All right, so this makes me feel like the I don't remember what movie it was, where I felt like we were talking about a character and we're like, yeah, I don't know if she did that great. And I was like, well, that's my MVP. So my MVP goes to Chris Evans. And like that's what I was saying. Well, that's why I was trying to give you pushback in that moment too. I'm like, well, let me give you a little more pushback because I gave this guy my MVP. Like throughout the movie, I looked at him as like as Captain America, like the whole like leader thing. But like again, as the movie progressed, like again, like, as we're going through to the classroom, just like these moments of like aggression where I was like, okay, this isn't Captain America. This is something else. I can see him as something else. And I personally, again, I think I got wrapped up in so much of the shock of things for being said, like the babies thing. I was just like, I think that was one of the things too, where I was just like, this is definitely not Captain America. Like I can't.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's
he would
like,
never. Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
baby. And it's just like, yeah, I know. He gets my MVP just because I personally, like I said it before, so I want to go too much on it, but I've never seen him in anything like this, and I actually enjoyed the monologue personally because I've never seen him do something like this, and to me, he performed it in a way that I thought was really good, and I'll rewatch it again. Maybe my points will change, maybe I won't. Not saying that like you're swaying me or anything. And I'm curious to see how he does in other things, see how that compares. Because maybe it's like, oh no, he was way better in that Sunshine movie that they were talking about. But personally, I was moved by that scene, and I thought it was a nice change of pace from seeing him from Captain America and the other like comedy things I've seen him in. So I was like, okay, I like it, and I thought he was a great lead. I felt like he fit as a good leader of this movie. I was thinking at first, I was thinking there was a little pushback of like, this dude looks a little too like strong for a guy that's supposed to be like poor and they're eating protein blocks.
You know, I actually saw that when I was researching that they initially the casting director like recommended to JB that they went with Chris Evans, and that was kind of, he was hesitant because of that. He was like, I don't know, he's kind of big and strong, and like the character's supposed to be poor and just eating these like protein blocks and malnourished, right? So they actually said they had some difficulty with costume and makeup to kind of cover all that up. Like they had him wear baggy clothes and stuff to try and make him look smaller. But you're right, he's still pretty big.
It was just mostly in the fighting scenes where it was like apparent. Where, like him doing like the punches, and I'm like, this guy, it looks like someone strong. The way he's hitting people, and like when he was hitting down with the axe and stuff, I'm like, this doesn't look like some poor weak dude. This looks like a strong guy. It didn't take me out of it or anything, but
they're plot muscles, you know. It's like plot armor. It's exactly, he's our main character. He's gonna be strong as shit.
100%. But that being said, who's your MVP?
I just want to say, I don't think Chris Evans' performance was bad.
That's
definitely not what I'm saying. Like even that monologue, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm not saying it's not good.
Thought it was too much talking.
I just thought it could have been better. You know, like
and you're allowed to say
like pretty much every performance has room for critique. You know, it's like Heath Ledger and Joker. Like,
no, how dare you? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but that's what I mean. Like I'm saying his performance there is almost, it's perfect. Like it's amazing. He embodies that character. He's great in every single scene that he's in. And that's what I mean. Like, would you say Chris Evans' monologue rivals that performance?
Oh no. But
no, that's what I mean. So that I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm not saying it's perfect. And that's the reason why I'm not saying it's perfect. But I still think he did good in this movie. Absolutely. Yeah. And to be the lead just means all that pressure is on him, and he delivered. And because I feel like if your lead isn't good, you won't have a good movie. And I still think it's a good movie. I just think it, you know, there's room for improvement, and pretty much because it's not a perfect movie. So that's what I'm going to bring up.
You know what? I think you're swaying me. He wasn't committed enough. He needed to go machinist for this role. If he really cared.
Exactly.
Fuck Captain America. I don't care about that.
He should have eaten a real baby for this role.
Yeah, exactly. Method acting.
Yeah,
Christian Bale would have eaten a baby. Christian Bale would have eaten a baby.
Facts.
100% would have eaten.
100% he would have eaten a baby for this role, guaranteed. And he would have delivered it knowing that pain.
Yeah, exactly.
Of eating a baby, knowing what human tastes like.
Oh God.
Yeah, come on, Chris Evans.
Who's your MVP?
My MVP goes to Tilda Swinton.
Okay, that's good.
So she plays Mason. I thought she was great. Like she played the character so well. She's in it a lot less because she dies halfway through.
Yeah.
But I thought she played, like, her hatred for the lower class was so good. Like, all you tail people, you mog. Oh, she was great with that. And like the selfishness of the character too, like I was talking about, like that delivery of, it's not even a line, but when the guy's like, surrender, and because a quick shot of her, like she shrugs and was like, no, What do you want me to do? I was that
No,
it
that
was
was
so
good.
good. And then like when she's in charge, very neglecting and degrading to the poor people, the lower class. But
Mhm.
then when she loses control, when she gets captured, or in the classroom when they have the gun to her head, she's full desperation, right? She's like, no, I'll take you to Wilfred. Everybody stop, everybody, I'll take you to Wilfred. I just want to live. And so like those two opposite sides of the character, I thought she did really, really well.
Mhm.
And she was, as a character, actually really unlikable.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Super
yeah.
unlikable, great antagonist, but I thought gripping. Like I said, like I couldn't take my eyes off her almost when she was in those scenes, because yeah, she was very unlikable, but like she just carried that unlikable energy and just amplified it. Because yes, I didn't like her, but I was so intrigued by her character and what she was bringing to the table. Like it was not in a positive way, but
No.
even in a negative way, it was still just so powerful. And I really was impressed by the performance.
Oh no, I agree. And again, after seeing that her and JB worked on the character together, you can tell, like, because you can tell
Mm,
how committed she was to it. And then again, we could, I'm making jokes, but you could argue like she seemed is like that commitment that not everyone had to do like 2 hours of makeup for each of their characters, but you could tell like she could have phoned it in. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe that. And for JB's vision of the movie, she wouldn't have let her be like, oh no, we're gonna do the 2 hours of makeup thing. But like she just very much like fell into that character. And honestly, at first, I didn't even realize it was her. Like I thought the
I
character,
know,
like the
same.
actor looked familiar. I was like, is that somebody that I know? It's like she really like fell into that character, and it was like it's like that weasel character. You know what I mean? Where it's like the weasel is like it's not a likable character, but it's like as you see how far they'll go to be a weasel, it's kind of like Loki into to bring it
Yeah.
as we're talking about Marvel. Like he's not. I mean, he's got funny moments, but he's just so weaselly and does like such douchebaggy things. Where it's like, and every time you think like, oh no, like Loki's actually here to help them, and then he snakes them. You're like, of course he did it because it's
Yeah.
Loki. It's like with
I
her
think
too.
it's
It's just like,
it's just a full selfishness, right? Like they're
yeah,
only acting in their own best interest, right? Like,
exactly,
she's
always,
you think she's working for Wilford, but as soon as she loses control, she flips on. She's like, "I'll take you to him as long as you kill him. I don't
yeah,
care. Like, just let
exactly,
me live." Like, so she's
exactly.
only working in her with her own uh priorities and her own self-interest at heart.
Mhm.
But so that's what I mean. Super, like, Weasley is a great word. Like, super unlikable, but so compelling still, like just demanding my attention on screen. And in the couple moments, like real acting moments that she kills them. And also another reason, the last reason she's my MVP is also because I feel like the movie kind of tails off after she dies. But
Mhm.
again, this is kind of what I was talking about, where it's like it slows down,
Yeah.
where it's slow. There's a lot of talking. Everything kind of slows down after this, and that's what I didn't like as much.
Mhm.
So that's another reason why I feel like when she was alive and like in and out of scenes, I was locked in the whole way. And then after she's gone, it's a little bit slower. And
Okay.
but
No, no, I that's actually a good point. That is like the mark of when like the
yeah,
tone of the movie did kind of change, and it definitely did it left so I guess it left some humor out too. Because again, I was saying that like every time she was every scene she was in, basically there was something that was made me laugh. Like it's just like oh, we're gonna cut you into little pieces. Like why should we believe you? She's like because I want to live. Like just like little
yeah.
goofy things, or like it's like no, you're gonna eat this protein block, and he's like, and she just the way she like nibbled into
Ah,
it with her
slowly
teeth,
eats it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like all these little things are just like oh, it's hilarious. Like just like so a little bit of that was like missed from like as the movie went on. So like I agree, she was a really great character, and as like the other points you mentioned too made me realize I'm like yeah she was, and definitely my second view in the movie will be I'll definitely pay more attention to her and maybe I'll catch other little like funny things that she did or just like other aspects that maybe there would be some ad lib things in there too that I'll find out.
Well, there was something that I noticed that I
Okay,
guarantee you wouldn't have noticed, was
okay,
early on when she goes in and that guy's arm is out the window and she's
yeah,
having this speech talking about class and staying in your lane and being in her
yeah,
place. She does like the arm movement of the kid where she reaches, turns, and like turns back.
okay, yeah.
And I was like, I know that this is what they're doing. Like, this is why they're getting the kid, but I don't know why this is a
Oh,
meaningful movement for her.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I noticed it knowing the twist
yeah.
later on.
Oh snap! Yeah, I
But
didn't. Yeah, I
but she
did
was a
not
great
even.
character.
No, yeah, she was. She was really good.
Awesome character. And just before we wrap, I there was one fact that I forgot to mention,
yeah,
but I did
go
want to bring it up because I thought it was really cool.
Okay,
Was
yeah.
that in 2021, Harvard announced a project to study if using calcium carbonate dust to dim the sun's light would actually work. So like the product that they have in the movie where they spread out this
Yeah.
dust to like stop global warming, Harvard actually like is studying it.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
they call it CW7 too.
I doubt it, but
That's
I thought that was cool. I was like,
No,
they're
that is
actually
really
looking
cool.
into this.
That's
We just had a
wild.
movie about how bad this can go. What are you guys doing?
Oh my god! I guess we'll see how it goes, bro. You ready to eat bugs? You ready to eat babies? Yo?
Ooh.
Well, hopefully we can get on the train. I don't know.
Yeah,
Am I
that's
gonna-
if you can get on the train,
Yeah,
bro. I
that's
don't think we're
true.
getting on the train.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're just gonna we're gonna be morons and we're gonna freeze like popsicles.
Yeah, God. We're gonna be those 7, bro. We're just gonna be stuck
Yeah.
immortalized. We'll see.
Exactly.
All right, well, yeah, I guess that I don't have any other fact. I guess the last thing I don't want to do is I want to shout out my shirt, yo. I rock this shirt because we're doing it's not a South Korean film, but it's Old Boy. For anyone that hasn't seen Old Boy, it's a Park Chan-wook movie. He's another great South Korean director. Movie that you should watch. It's a movie you guys can watch with your girlfriend or boyfriend or wherever. Decision to Leave, really good movie. But Old Boy, this is like we'll put him on the map. And a disclaimer: this movie is dark. So if you don't want to watch a dark movie, if eating babies is
I was gonna
wild
say,
to
does
you,
anyone eat any babies in that movie?
something that's maybe there's some
Ooh.
wild shit in it. There's some
Okay.
wild shit in it. That's all I'm gonna say. So because Eloise listens right now, she's always like, "Yo, you should tell this person to watch Old Boy." I'm like, you got a disclaimer. You know what I mean? It's just like there's some wild shit in here. You gotta let them know there's some wild shit. Don't let them think they're fucking watching like some little sunshine shit. Some dark shit happens in it. That's all I'm saying. It's good though. It's good, but it's dark.
Okay.
So I had to shout them out. Watch Decision to Leave. It's not as dark. It's a good movie.
Yeah, watch both.
Yeah, watch both.
There you
But
go.
that being said, thanks again for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and Apple. And if you're on Apple, leave us a review, 5 stars only.
5 stars.
And if you do leave us a review that's 5 stars, we will read it on the podcast. Don't forget to follow / subscribe for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the Film Room Pod. And shout out to all the new followers. I know one of our videos kind of popped off. I just feel like we should mention it. One of our videos popped off. We got a lot of new subscribers. Maybe you guys are listening to this one the first time. I don't know if you're going back. Maybe listen to this one and go back to the old ones. Listen to them all the way through. Join us on this adventure.
Hey, welcome aboard if you're a new listener. Yeah,
welcome
appreciate
aboard. Welcome aboard. And most importantly, Scott knows, I know, but do you know what happens if the engine stops? We all freeze and die. All right, peace out.
it. See ya.